Groom appreciates your recommendation.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rug Room. My name is Abigail Beck. Sit down, grab a drink, chill out with us. What's happening? Going on? I'm tired. I'm barely keeping it together today. There you go, magic. I think I'm still recovering from the other day. Honestly, it's still hitting me. How long does it take to get over like a stomach bug? I'm tired. I'm dad. Okay, so what's your day been like? Mine's been pretty uneventful. I spent I don't know how many hours, an ungodly amount of time, both parenting and editing a video, which ended up being 39 bloody minutes after yesterday's talk about anti-vaxxers. I get the sneaking suspicion maybe we should shelve the anti-vaxxer topic for a while, because I think I'm pretty tired of that whole discussion. I don't know about you folks. I mean, anti-vaxxers are always a fun group to tear into, but I think I'm well and truly over them for at least a week. I'm gonna fiddle with my music a bit. How does it sound now? Sorry, I've got biscuits. I've got Scotch finger biscuits. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I mean, I'm in a weird mood. I'm in this weird mood where I'm like, I'm not exactly sad, but I'm not exactly feeling great either, you know? I'm sort of like in between right now. And yeah, Scotch fingers are fucking great. They're fucking awesome. So I'm not giving much of a fuck about my diet today. I swear I'm gonna end up putting on weight because I've been neglecting myself. I have been. I still think, quite frankly, I'm gonna throw this out there into the wild. Speculate on this however you feel. But I think that hospital visit has had some lingering psychological effects.
Supporter of the cause.
Fox, thank you so kindly
Yay.
for the 14-month resub, 6-month streak. They've separated those now, I've noticed. Huh. Sub lounge. So yeah, as a result, as of this morning. Not as of this morning, sorry. I haven't really done a whole lot of looking up a certain topic today, so I'm kind of just like, I haven't got any big plans. There are, of course, if you look at the title, you can tell there is at least one subject that I want to talk about. There is at least one topic I want to touch on. What is 40,000 Australians trending on Twitter, though, by the way? I'm joining over 150 groups and organisations around 40,000 Australians in calling on Scott Morrison MP to release and permanently resettle people detained in Australia's offshore detention regime. There you go. I didn't know what that was. Magic, I genuinely had no idea. Oh, you mean about the Anthem thing. I thought you meant about the 40,000 Australians thing. Yeah, Anthem Next. Who knows what Anthem Next was? You just like sit in chat over there and just speculate on what Anthem Next was. While I finish the last bit of my biscuit and then we'll talk. I should have started eating earlier. So, for those of you who are unaware, there was a video game called Anthem. There was a video game called Anthem. And as Broken said, it should have stayed in the draft. Shall we start from the beginning? This is back in 2019 when Jason Schreier was still working at Kotaku. Questionable journalism place. Remember them? Give me a second. I think I've done something. I put my pride ring in my back pocket because I bought these shorts and they only have back pockets. Alright, we'll talk about Anthem. Let's talk about Anthem. Alright, let's get into it. So, I forget. Here we go. This actually goes into it. Jason goes into it. Posture check, hydration, we're all good, we're in business, we're good to go. We got our coffee, which is still searing hot, so I can't drink it yet. But back just days before
Welcome
the
to the
annual
Rogue Room.
I Miss PogChamp 48. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Just days before the E3 convention of June of 2017, when the storied studio BioWare would reveal its newest game, the plan had been to go with a different title, Beyond. They'd even printed out Beyond t-shirts for the staff. Alright, so Anthem wasn't even originally supposed to be called Anthem. Less than a week before the Los Angeles press conference held by BioWare's parent company EA, word came down that securing the rights to the trademark of Beyond would be too difficult. So I don't think do they ever explain what the problem was with the Beyond name in here? I don't think they do. Hello lesbian bread and cheese, I'm doing okay, how are you doing? But whereas Beyond had been indicative of what BioWare had hoped the game would be, you'd go out beyond the walls of your fort and into the dangerous wilds. What a clever and original name that was. Anthem didn't really mean much. Did they ever end up... I actually have to question this. I didn't play much beyond the original Anthem demo. The beta that they released. I don't know if you folks ever actually played the beta of Anthem that was released about 3 weeks before the actual game came out. But the story goes that there was a trailer released at E3 2017, a demo, in E3 2017 that gave us a glimpse, gave us a gameplay teaser of what Anthem was supposed to be. And it was this big, let me see if I can find the video actually. Anthem E3 2017 trailer. They showed off this video. I'll turn the volume off. We'll skip ahead a little bit so you can actually see it. Like they show off this graphical fidelity, which can I turn the graphical quality up? No, that's as high as it goes. At any rate, you get the point. They're trying to make this look far better than it actually ended up looking in the game itself. And what I played of it and what I saw other people play of it, it never had this level of like cutscene fidelity to it. This is all bullshit. You know, this is what they were showing off at E3 2017 before they had any idea what the fuck they were doing. They were showing this game off. They just like threw this together. They didn't have a game plan for this game. I keep using the phrase game plan, which means something that's not related to gaming necessarily, but then we cycle back to gaming anyway. In Anthem, you control one of these big robot suits, these big Iron Man suits sort of things, called Javelins. And it was supposed to be basically this, effectively, pretend to be Iron Man game, right? Except you're in this big alien world, there's a bunch of different types of monsters and other things. You're going out there, it was supposed to be, you know, Iron Man simulator, effectively. And, you know, all of this is fake. All of this trailer, completely fucking fake. None of it's real. They made it up. And, like, I don't doubt some of it was actually conceptual, but they had to throw all of this together for this E3 teaser, and they didn't actually have a game to show off, nor did they know exactly what their plan for the game was. So they were just sort of putting this out there and just letting it, like, in a way, almost just manifesting it into existence by showing this teaser trailer. Also, there is a segment here very shortly. I'm fairly certain this is absolute bullshit. Let's see if it happens now or... No, it's a little bit further along. This bit. They go underwater. I'm pretty sure that was never in the game. When they eventually released it, I'm pretty sure there was never actually any water in the game. Overall, this was a complete... like... It's one of those cases of like over-promising and under-delivering sort of things. Now, BioWare were most well known for like Mass Effect and Dragon Age, right? The two big titles that they've always been known for. Well, as long as I've known of them. They did have stuff like Jade Empire and a few other games before they eventually got shoved onto this project. I do believe they had... Dragon Age Inquisition was okay, but not as good as their prior work, according to some people. Then they did Mass Effect Andromeda, which wasn't good, and then they came to Anthem. And Anthem was like a huge flop. Jade Empire is meant to be one of those really niche games. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see a follow-up to Jade Empire. Saints Row team, make the Punisher again with the uncensored patch installed by default. You didn't read the description. Oh, okay. Well, that's why I wasn't reading your messages, honestly. Destiny and Warframe are both a little different, but you understand the sentiment. Thematically, it was a brilliant concept. It was just executed so poorly. Yeah, exactly. It was just this whole idea behind Anthem was honestly a good concept. Yeah, a good idea. Like, let's give our characters some Iron Man suits and let them fly around an open world and do some shooty fighting and stuff. But the problem was, like, this trailer doesn't really tell you anything about what the game is supposed to be. And nor did the studio even know, in terms of its gameplay mechanics, what the game was supposed to be. So, right off the bat, we're being shown, again, like, honestly, can somebody give me an example of a game that's like this, where we're being shown gameplay footage of a thing without even knowing specifically what kind of game it is? Like, you look at this gameplay footage, and it's this lush green world, there's these fallen structures of an ancient civilization. There's a bit of shooting, a bit of exploration, but at the time we're like, is this linear? Is this single player? Is this multiplayer? And the studio themselves didn't actually have much of a clue themselves. They had a whole bunch of ideas that were never really going anywhere at the time. And then EA was just like, well, look, BioWare, we need to get some hype around this thing so you can get some money from it. So, you know, EA pushed their buttons. China seems to be coming out with some decent single-player games this year. I mean, what I've seen of Black Myth Wukong, is that what it's called? That looks really good. Souls-like, based on Journey to the West, I believe it's called. So glad that your first experience with Anthem was at your best friend's house, so you never had to pay for it. I never had to pay for it either, technically speaking. I played the beta, which again was freely available to everyone, but it was released like 3 weeks before the game was supposed to come out. So, complete, absolute, like, if you're playing the beta expecting the game to be significantly different on release, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's not how that works. Good times, Ondell. How you doing? How's it hanging? We're just chilling out talking about Anthem at the moment. Anthem got cancelled! Anyway, let's go through this article. Let's go through this article a little bit. This gives us a bit of context for the origins of Anthem. It's a pretty lengthy article. Oh my god, it goes for ages. I forgot how long this was. Here's the thing, okay? So let's talk about this article for a second. This is quite frankly the bullet to the kneecaps that originally sort of signaled the downfall of the game. Okay, this came out very shortly after the game released. Or actually, hang on, let me look up Anthem release. Anthem came out on the 25th of January 2019. This article came out 3 months later on the 2nd of April 2019. And, oh my god. What am I doing with myself? I'm sitting here talking into a microphone. Actually, I think that music's a bit too loud. I might, turn it down a bit for me. Anyway. Well, as we were saying, this particular article just went into every single thing that went wrong during the development process, sorry. When Anthem launched in February of 2019, it was panned by fans and critics. Like, it was really, absolutely... Oh, this is just their review. Hang on, where's, like, Metacritic? We'll look at Anthem's Metacritic scores. We'll give you a good idea. And honestly, these scores look way too high, quite frankly. 4.0 user score. Make sure to add an either option. I will. Do we have any mods in chat? I'm gonna throw in another one here just for the hell of it. There you go. I don't think, like, in a realistic sense, first vote goes to Dark Souls. Where were we with this? Yes, I agree, Epolite. I agree. Anyway, the game was critically panned. It was panned by the fans. And, yeah, as of this particular article, this is again like 2 years ago, has a 55 on the review aggregation site, Metacritic, BioWare's lowest score since the company was founded in 1995. You should play Dark Souls? You should play Dark Souls. The developer, once known for ambitious role-playing games like Dragon Age and the original Mass Effect trilogy, has now released 2 critical flops in a row following 2017's Can you go away? Honestly, like, I'm sick of you. Has now released 2 critical flops in a row following 2017's disappointing Mass Effect Andromeda. You'll give me something about Dark Souls. What's that? Don't you trash on the game that I'm literally wearing the merch of. I considered playing it tonight. I considered it. Well, yeah, Mass Effect Andromeda. So, like, I think the writing was on the wall for Anthem for a while. 2 critical flops in a row. Oh, yeah, so it was saying Andromeda and... Andromeda and... What's it called? Anthem. Dark Soulsing right now. Fuck yeah. So yeah, for those who don't know, like, Mass Effect Andromeda was pretty critically panned as well. A lot of people didn't like how Andromeda went. It's full of stuff to do. It is. It's quite a good fun game. Far better than Anthem at any rate. Anyway, I want to get to the point where he starts talking about, because, like, as we haven't
Welcome
really.
To the Rogue Room.
Epolite, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Dark Souls wins. Neither Anthem nor Destiny got any votes. Oh, that's good. What I've played of Destiny, though, is it's an actual functional game. And what eventually released with regards to Anthem, what Anthem eventually became, was supposed to be like Destiny. Was supposed to be like The Division. Was supposed to be like... what's another good example? I guess Warframe. Like, those kinds of games. Those kinds of live servicey... You know, you keep repeating the same missions in different areas. They get a little bit harder. You get some loot. You upgrade your stuff. And it was a very shallow, bare bones interpretation of this. A lot of the attribute... Like, apparently there was an issue. There was a bug early on in Anthem where it made one of the earlier guns you got had a stat on it, had an attribute on it, that effectively meant it was better than late game weaponry you could get. It actually ended up being a better gun. At any rate, like, Anthem was entirely unpolished, entirely unready to be thrown out there. The way the Dark Souls works is that it doesn't tilt you, it breaks you down death after death until eventually you devolve into a state of once more into the fray as opposed to traditional anger and frustration. And I love it, Demacia. I live for it. It teaches you. That's what I like about Dark Souls. It teaches you. Well, let me keep going through this. Similar game had a rough launch and eventually recovered. Few were happy with the initial release. Anthem wasn't just buggy and thin on content. It felt half-baked, like it hadn't been play-tested and tweaked enough by developers with experience playing other loot shooters. In the weeks after launch, there appeared to be a new major problem every day. Now, this part here that is very relevant. Anthem wasn't just buggy and thin on content. It felt half-baked, like it hadn't been play-tested and tweaked enough by developers with experience playing other looter shooters. That is a point that is mentioned later on in the article. I don't remember where exactly, maybe he gets into it very soon, but at some point... Excuse me. At some point in this article, there is a mention of the fact that the publishers would not allow... Was it Anthem or was it another game? I think it was Anthem. I'm pretty sure it was Anthem. Let me see here. It might be in this paragraph. Story of technical failings. No. Essentially, there was a point during Anthem's development where the publishers just said, do not look at the other games on the market. We're going to do our own thing. So they didn't want them to look at the competition. They didn't want them to play the competition at all. They just wanted them to make sure that Anthem was its own thing and it was its own unique take on this particular genre without considering what worked well in other games in the genre like Destiny, like Division, any of those kinds of things. So, too many cooks in the kitchen kind of a situation. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Briarfire. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Yes, the BioWare magic thing. BioWare magic. That phrase is mentioned 6 times in this article. Within the studio, there's a term called BioWare magic. It's a belief that no matter how rough a game's production might be, things will always come together in the final months. The game will always coalesce. It happened on the Mass Effect trilogy, on Dragon Age Origins, and on Inquisition. Veteran BioWare developers like to refer to production as a hockey stick. It's flat for a while, then suddenly jolts upward. Even when a project feels like a complete disaster, there's a belief that with enough hard work and enough difficult crunch, we love that term, it'll all come together. And obviously, one thing's for certain, on Anthem, BioWare's magic ran out. Jesus, this article just like, can I show you how long this article is? Like, let's get rid of this for a second. Look at my scroll bar up here. Like, look at this article. Look at Jason. Jason. Mate, chill. If you would like to read the entire fucking novel that Jason Schreier published on how BioWare's Anthem went wrong, there's so much in there. It's such a good article. There's so much detail. At any rate, Jason Schreier, who is still covering Anthem, posted this. Go away. I don't want to sign up to Bloomberg, thanks. Jason Schreier posted this on February 9th, just over 2 weeks ago. Electronic Arts to decide fate of Anthem game this week. Electronic Arts will hold a meeting to determine whether it will continue trying to create a new version of the failed online game Anthem, according to 3 people familiar with the matter. A multiplayer game by the EA-owned developer BioWare launched in February 2019 to poor reviews. In the following months, BioWare put together a small team to overhaul the game. Executive producer Christian Daly wrote 3 blog posts last year outlining some of the big changes planned, but in December, Daly left the Anthem team as part of a BioWare management shakeup, leaving the project... leaving the project's fate in question. It's sort of become, like, Anthem has become a bit of a meme among my social group, I would say, where we tend to rip on the fact that no one's playing Anthem, nobody's watching anyone play Anthem. Can we check the Anthem categories stats at the moment? Okay, we got to get more than 29 viewers this stream, folks. We got to hit more than 29 viewers to be beating Anthem. Sad day for Anthem lovers today. What, like all 12 of you? Hello, Briar. How you doing? That is kind of... I did had faith. Hashtag I did had faith. That is kind of sad, actually. Because, like, this game was clearly demonstrably not finished. It was not anywhere near done. It was never anywhere near done, and yet, for reasons that escape me, they kept dragging it out. They kept dragging its corpse along behind them. EA, BioWare. Even after the announcement of, like, Dragon Age 4 and the Mass Effect remaster and a Mass Effect 4, like... It's been clear for a while, the writing's been on the wall for a while, and just the fact that there hasn't been any significant content updates to the game, hasn't been dramatically improved in any way. You know, the game has been left to simmer. And that, to me, has said, for the longest time, they had no intention of chasing this up. Anyway, Demacia, don't get me wrong, you love Warframe, you just found the Plains of Eidolon update to be drastically underwhelming compared to the hype it generated in the community, Sag. I mean, that could be true of many, many games, honestly. There's a lot of games, there's a lot of, honestly, as someone who played a ton of World of Warcraft in her youth, there were a lot of expansions where it was like one expansion was fucking top-notch, and then the next one was absolute dog shit. I think it was like Wrath of the Lich King was one of my favorite expansions, and then Cataclysm came out, and I was like, oh my god, this fucking sucks. So this kind of stuff does happen, quite frankly, in the games industry, but to the level at which Anthem absolutely collapsed and just completely fell out is honestly a spectacle I'm not sure I ever expected. It's... I don't know, it's rather intriguing. So, Jason Schreier comes back to us today and says, EA cancels revision of Anthem after much panned 2019 launch. This is kind of amazing to me. This idea that, you know, I guess, you know, just coming from an age where video games were just video games, they would just come out and they'd just be out and you'd just be able to pick them up and play them. You just buy a game and you just play the game. And, I mean, I know there's always been, like, say, online games. There's been, like, the history of MMOs. If I'm not mistaken, there were MMOs back before I was even playing video games. I believe there was a text-based one. Okay, this is interesting. In 1974, Maze War introduced the first graphical world, providing a first-person perspective view of a maze. That kind of explodes my mind a little bit. No, I wanted to know specifically the history of MMOs, commercial MMOs on the internet. Because, you know, you could largely say that the current live service trend is derived from the MMO market, wouldn't you suggest? I'd say that. I'd say in a strict sense, the always online, big open world, but you can only participate in a small part of it at any given time with a few people. You know? But for example, the term MMORPG was coined by Richard Garriott, the creator of Ultima Online in 1997. So that kind of gives you a gauge for when, like, online games, like massively multiplayer online games, were a thing around 1997 at the very least. Oh my god. Can I just say this? Following Neverwinter Nights was The Shadow of Eusebius, an MMORPG on the Sierra Network, which ran from 1992 to 1996. The game was produced by Joe Ybarra. The Shadow of Eusebius was an hourly service, although it offered unlimited service for $120 per month. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm getting distracted by the history of MMORPGs. What the fuck, dude? Anyway. $120 a month. Okay. There's also apparently a listen to article option here. Video game publisher Electronic Arts, I can read, has decided not to move forward with a planned revision of Anthem, an online video game that was widely criticized following its launch 2 years ago. A small team at the EA-owned game developer BioWare has spent the past year and a half working on this revision, which they called Anthem Next. Apex was such a raging success because it did exactly that and shocked the global community as a whole. Something about the game was leaked literally the day before it hit Origin. Yeah, like Apex astounded me with how much it just sort of blew everything out of the water. It just appeared out of nowhere. And that was actually, hang on a second. Apex Legends was released at the same time as Anthem. It was released couple of weeks before Anthem was. Nobody knew Apex was coming. Nobody had any anticipation of it. And it just dropped on the 4th, and all of a sudden everybody was playing it. And then Anthem released 2 weeks later, just over 2 weeks later, like 22 minus 4, 18 days. Yeah, Anthem released just that little bit later, another EA game. And I suppose, you know, that doesn't really speak to Electronic Arts specifically. And the inconsistency within. It's more of a BioWare issue, I think. I mean, that's a kind of the question that we ask. It's, you know, if a studio under something like EA, we know that EA tends to churn through studios, right? We've seen it happen in the past. We've had a lot of people worried that it's going to eventually happen to BioWare, especially given how Anthem and Andromeda performed. At what point do you say, it's the studio that's kind of floundering? Or do you say it's Electronic Arts that's meddling? I'm not quite 100% certain where we would sit on that. Although the specific release of Anthem, if I'm not mistaken, was the case where they had some content together. They didn't know what to do with it, and EA sent someone in and was like, we need to get this game out. It needs to be released. It's been far too long that this has just been sitting on the table stewing. You just don't know what you're doing with it, so put everything together, we're pushing it out. You know, that was kind of what happened with Anthem's release. And honestly, one of the original nails in the coffin for it. Especially given, you know, it's an online live service game. It's not like, for example, Cyberpunk. You know, Cyberpunk had the same kind of scenario where they definitely had pressure from investors to get that game out the door, even though it was nowhere near finished. But the difference is that Cyberpunk, at least at the moment, is a single-player video game, and thus they don't really need to worry about the longevity of the game. You know, it's why Anthem isn't being revised by EA. Apex generated enough profit throughout Anthem's post-release period that they never needed to revive the game. True. Like, the profit margins were just like, well, we can just let this one burn. And it doesn't shock me, honestly. And maybe it's a good thing for BioWare that moving forward, they, maybe it's a good thing for BioWare that, you know, moving forward, they just focus specifically on their franchises that they are quite good at. You know, Dragon Age, Mass Effect. I have heard worrying things that Dragon Age is going to be a live service, which is just like, dude, can we not? It's all EA's fault since they almost destroyed DICE too. What happened with DICE? I mean, there have been a few studios that are quite good under EA, and there are studios that are not behaving the best under EA. So it's kind of a all over the place situation. Hello, Amy. How you doing? Aimski Doodle. What's going on? You're sucking at souls today, hurting your own cleric soul. Okay, so a small team at EA-owned developer, we already read that bit. They'd hoped to overhaul the game and get a second chance from fans. February marked the end to Anthem Next's incubation period, which meant that EA had to decide whether to move forward or abandon the project, Bloomberg previously reported. Earlier this month, EA executives reviewed the current version of Anthem Next and decided not to proceed. In a Wednesday blog post, BioWare's Christian Daly pinned the cancellation on the coronavirus pandemic, writing that working from home during the pandemic has had an impact on our productivity and not everything we had planned as a studio before COVID-19 can be accomplished without putting undue stress on our teams. I mean, that's a fair point to make, I would say. You know, I think, you know, the fact that yes, this work can be done from home, but the stress of a pandemic definitely wouldn't have helped in that scenario. But I think what they were working with foundationally just wasn't ever going to be a good game. Is that it? Wait, that's it? That's the whole thing? Aw, dude, we were talking about Anthem. Aimski, we were talking about Anthem. The failed video game by EA. By BioWare, specifically, where you get into these big Iron Man suits and go around shooting at things. It was gonna play largely like Destiny and Division, those kinds of games where, you know, you're in a world doing a lot of the same kind of content over and over again in a grindy fashion to get incremental loot upgrades and things like that. And yeah, it seems like EA has finally said, let's put the final nail in the coffin and just bury this game. Yeah, it disappeared, which honestly feels like it wasn't the right move, in my personal opinion. They released a game that at the very least had some functional baseline, and rather than what they could have done here, and again, I've spoken about my disdain for this particular idea itself, but because certain studios will look at games like No Man's Sky, which has had a tremendous redemption arc, releasing as a game that didn't have almost any of the features that are originally promised, but Hello Games put their heads down and just said, we're going to put the features in, and they haven't put all the features in, obviously. There's still a lot missing from that game, but Hello Games has released numerous huge updates. One of their updates was actually called Next, honestly. And they've managed to polish No Man's Sky to a point where it's a solid, content-rich video game. And what EA should have done with BioWare is said, okay, now you get to work. We've put out this piece of garbage. Now we fix it. You know, that's kind of what they should have done, but instead they said to themselves, what we can do instead is we'll, you know, rescind a little bit. We'll release the first piece of DLC that we had planned, and then we'll just, you know, shy away from the world, give it to a small team. I don't know why they thought a small team was a good idea. We'll give it to a small team, and what was I going to say? And you know, I think the original idea, there was actually an interview. There was an interview that I believe was with an EA dev. I'd have to go and look it up, where they said they were debating releasing this new update as its own separate DLC or its own separate game at cost, which I think if they had done that, if they had gone down that route, EA would have caught a tremendous amount of flack for that. And I think this is, quite frankly, it's either they do the thing that would have been best for the players, which would have been the No Man's Sky approach, of course, add a bunch of content updates, or They cancel it. Those were the only two options they had. If they were to go down the route of releasing a full paid either expansion or sequel, it would not have gone well. What's up, Soham? How's it going? Sucks when stuff like that happens. It's all about money and company image. They just give up on it if it doesn't make them enough money. Yeah, true. But in this case, in the case of Anthem, I think it was just, they looked at it and they were just like, there's no salvaging Anthem at this point. This is going to go down in the annals of gaming history as an absolute failure. I mean, there have been games where it's like, okay, this is a good game, but I can kind of see why they're not going to revive it because it didn't sell that many copies, sort of thing. It's like, I wouldn't mind a sequel to this or that. But this is a case where the entire gaming space, aside from like 12 people, banded together and said, you know what, Anthem fucking sucks. Anthem's shit. And that's why they've ended up cancelling it. This is why it's no longer going to have its heyday. Its heyday was, quite frankly, when that Jason Schreier article came out the first time. And it's kind of sad to see because, there was a lot of, I'm sure there was a lot of passion and a lot of effort involved in the production of this. But at the end of the day, you can't expect players of, quite frankly, given that this game was designed towards a specific audience of players who play games like The Division, like Destiny, like Warframe, those kinds of games, those players are going to have the experience of having played a better game. And when they were to pick up something like Anthem and seen how shallow it really was, they would have dropped it and said, don't play it to all their friends. So they already had their audience, and their audience said no, and at that point you just got to admit defeat and just be like, okay, we're throwing in the towel here. Someone who works in the games industry, it sucks how money controls everything. Money controls everything in everything, quite frankly. And yes, capitalism really does ruin everything. Capitalism ruins universal healthcare, ruins socialized housing, ruins every single little bit and piece out there. Every possible facet of life is destroyed by capitalism. Favorite statement about Battlefield 5 is also one of the saddest. In response to one of your favorite streamers playing Battlefield 5, watching you play BF5 inspired me to fire up BF5 again. After 15 minutes I stopped because I remembered it's Battlefield 5. So what happened? Pushed it to be released way before it was even close to being a decent game. And this is an issue we've seen crop up numerous times now. Thank you for the hydration, Fox. That is really sad. That is honestly very depressing. And we've seen this happen. Thank you for the posture check. We've seen this happen on numerous occasions with numerous other games. What are some other good examples? The Avengers is another one where it's like this game was clearly just pushed out the door to capitalize on a successful franchise, and they didn't really give much thought or consideration to the depth of the gameplay mechanics, and it was purely designed just to milk money. Purely designed just to milk money out of the audience. Like, if you've seen the cost of some of the microtransactions in the Avengers, it's obscene, it's absurd. And again, capitalism. Bring forth the UBI and automation for all industries except the arts. Hey, why don't the arts get UBI? Don't automate the arts, but give me UBI, please. But I think that's about, like, what else was there? There was Anthem, there was Avengers. Both of those had that same kind of situation. Was there was another game that was, yeah, like, obviously we talked about Battlefield. What other games have been in that same vein of, like, promising at first, but then... Oh, we just don't automate the arts. There we go. Detroit. There we go. We'll do some philosophy in just a sec. I could pick the person. Yay, I get to pick a philosopher. There were some... I'm sure there were other games. I honestly feel like Mass Effect Andromeda was another one where it was just like they had to get the game out the door, and that's why it was missing so many things. Also, if I'm not mistaken, BioWare Team B, basically. It was a... Mass Effect Andromeda seemed like it was a Dark Souls 2 kind of situation. They had a Team B that worked on Mass Effect Andromeda. It wasn't their A team, whatever that is. But BioWare has been bleeding veteran members for a while, since before Anthem came out, actually. So I think the BioWare we used to know, the BioWare magic that used to be there, has slowly been bled dry from anything. From, you know, BioWare's not what it used to be. Alright, let's read some philosophy. How you folks been doing today? How's it been going today? Speaking of machines, speaking of automation, Thomas Hobbes. Man is a machine. Let's do this one. Medieval and Renaissance thought. Thomas Hobbes. Doesn't sound like a medieval name. But whatevs, we'll go with it. Cyberpunk? Yeah, Cyberpunk's another good example, exactly. 4th century BCE, Aristotle disagrees with Plato's theory of a distinct human soul and argues that the soul is a form or function of the body. You know what, let's skip ahead. Let's not do like the history of the thing. Hey, Javon, how's it going? Although he is best known for his political philosophy, Thomas Hobbes wrote on a wide range of subjects. Many of his views are controversial, not least his defense of physicalism, the theory that everything in the world is exclusively physical in nature, allowing no room for the existence of other natural entities such as the mind or for supernatural beings. According to Hobbes, all things, including humans, are nothing more than flesh and blood machines. We're going to talk about this particular topic. I'm sure this will make you feel so much better, honestly. We're just going to reduce everyone to machinery. So he's not really medieval. 1588 to 1679. Not super medieval. Renaissance. This guy's a Renaissance guy. The kind of metaphysical theory that Hobbes favors was becoming increasingly popular at the time of his writing in the mid-17th century. And we'll come back to Dark Souls 2 in a minute. We'll discuss some more Dark Souls 2 stuff in a minute. Knowledge in the physical sciences was growing rapidly, bringing clearer explanations of phenomena that had long been obscured or misunderstood. Hobbes had met the Australian. He definitely hadn't met an Australian at the time. Hobbes had met the Italian astronomer Galileo, frequently regarded as the father of modern science, and had been closely associated with Francis Bacon, whose thinking had helped to revolutionize scientific practice. In science and mathematics, Hobbes saw the perfect counter to his medieval scholastic philosophy, and that had sought to reconcile the apparent contradictions between reason and faith. In common with many thinkers of his time, he believed there was no limit to what science could achieve, taking it as a matter of fact that any question about the nature of the world could be answered with a scientifically formulated explanation. How many pages do we have of Hobbes, by the way? A fair chunk. I think we'll be okay. We'll be able to get through this. And then we got René Descartes after that, but we're not going to read that bit. I think we already did Descartes. Is it Descartes or Descartes? I forget. So if we boil down his theory, it's nothing without substance. Nothing without substance can exist. So everything in the universe is physical. A human being is therefore entirely physical. Man is a machine. I mean, it's kind of product of its time measure of thinking, but I suppose it's fairly relevant, especially with regards to how, if we come back to the capitalism thing, how we are treated as cogs in a machine. In Leviathan, his major political work, Hobbes proclaims the universe, that is, the whole mass of things that are, is corporeal, that is to say, body. He goes on to say that each of these bodies has length, breadth, and depth, and that which is not body is no part of the universe. Although Hobbes is stating that the nature of everything is purely physical, he is not claiming that because of physicality everything can be perceived by us. Some bodies or objects, Hobbes declares, are imperceptible, even though they occupy physical space and have physical dimensions. These he calls spirits. Some of them, labelled animal spirits, in line with a common view at the time, are responsible for the most animal, and especially human, activity. These animal spirits move around the body, carrying with them and passing on information in much the same way we now think of the nervous system doing. In the end, we're all just chalk lines on the concrete, drawn only to be washed away for the time. For the time that I have been given, I am what I am. I'd rather hate you for everything you are than ever love you for something you are not. Ivan Moody. Who is Ivan Moody? I've never heard that name before. Magic. I'm going to flip you off for interrupting philosophy time. That's not even because of the redeem. You're interrupting philosophy time, you asshole. Oh, goodness me. Anyway, where were we? Let's keep going. You're welcome, sweets. Sometimes Hobbes seems to apply his concept of physical spirits to God and other entities found in religion, such as angels. However, he does state that God himself, but not other physical spirits, should be described as incorporeal. Where is it? Oh, that's the end of the sentence. For Hobbes, the divine nature of God's attributes is not something that the human mind is capable of fully understanding. Therefore, the term incorporeal is the only one that recognizes and also honors the unknowable substance of God. Hobbes does make clear, however, that he believes the existence and nature of all religious entities are matters of faith, not science, and that God in particular will remain beyond our comprehension. Well, duh. That's obvious. For anyone who's been paying attention, we cannot perceive any concept of a God. It's just simply impossible. All it is possible for human beings to know about God is that he exists and that he is the first cause or creator of everything in the universe, according to Hobbes, of course. I am a staunch atheist. Let's hammer that point home. Ivan Ooze. That reminds me of of Apocalypse. Do you guys remember X-Men Apocalypse? That was a bad movie. That was a really awful movie. That wasn't very good at all. This interpretation of Apocalypse.
Your recommendation.
Hi, by the way. Slept through another 3 classes this morning. Well, that's not good. Thank you for the host, by the way. Did you guys see X-Men Apocalypse? With Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, looking like Ivan Ooze motherfucker. It was a bad movie. I mean, even if we were to strip away the blatant racism of X-Men First Class, literally they killed off a black dude in they killed off the black mutant who literally had powers that would prevent him from dying. As the first kill-off I think he was the only kill-off in the movie. And then, of course, we have Days of Future Past, which was absolutely fantastic. But then we get Apocalypse, and it's just, ugh. Leaves a sour taste in my mouth. Wait. When you say Ivan Ooze wasn't that bad, by the way, does that say I love you, chat? Thank you, best buds. When you say Ivan Ooze, do you mean from the Power Rangers, or do you... Okay, from the Power Rangers, okay. Just making sure we're on the same page here. We're still doing philosophy. It is cool. What is consciousness? Because Hobbes considers that human beings are purely physical, and are therefore no more than biological machines, he is then faced with the problem of how to account for our mental nature. He makes no attempt to give an account of how the mind can be explained. He simply offers a general and rather sketchy account of what he thought science would eventually reveal to be the case. Even then, he only covers the mental activities such as voluntary motion, appetite, and aversion, all phenomena that can be studied and explained from a mechanistic point of view. Hobbes had nothing to say about what the modern-day Australian philosopher David Chalmers calls the hard problem of consciousness. Chalmers points out that certain functions of consciousness, such as the use of language and the processing of information, can be explained relatively easily in terms of the mechanisms that perform those functions, and that physicalist philosophers have been offering variants of this approach for centuries. We could do a chat about addictions. I'd need to get some resources on it and do some reading beforehand, though. I'd need to do some serious prep for addiction. But I've been slacking on the concept of doing an autism session. I've been meaning to do a full-blown autism session for a while now, and I just haven't been. So we could do that. We could do addiction. There are a few topics that I want to actually tackle at length. This is just a redeem at this point. We're not actually going to go deep into the philosophy thing. 7 days clean. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Congratulations. I hope you can stay off. Yes, please stay strong. You are doing incredibly well. Can I say that? I'm really bad at encouragement, honestly. I'm the worst. This is part of the autism thing. I'm very, very bad at encouragement, but you're doing tremendously. I have a ton of faith in you. In you. I'm tired, sorry. Let me see here. Where were we? The harder problem of explaining the nature of subjective first-person experience of consciousness remains unsolved by them. There seems to be a built-in mismatch between objects of the physical sciences on the one hand, and the subjects of consciousness experience on the other. That sentence doesn't make much sense. Autobots roll out. Something that Hobbes does not seem to be aware of. We're just reading about philosophy. We're not. That's just a title. That's just a title. You don't need to read that much into it, dude. Yeah, one day at a time. Exactly, one day at a time. And that's the way that addiction works. Is you got to take it slowly. It was a channel points buy. Yes, true. I can flip you off for virtual currency, which doesn't actually get me anywhere. You know. Yeah, actually, the smoking weed thing is rather interesting. How many people will flagrantly deny the idea that marijuana is addictive? It's quite demonstrably addictive, quite frankly. I'm gonna leave that there for a bit. Yeah, I think we've read enough of that one. It's quite obviously addictive, given how many people I have seen who are that type of person who's like, I can quit at any time, I could stop at any time, and yet they don't. What's this chat on about? I don't know. I have no control anymore. We started out talking about Anthem. My hair's a mess. And I'm tired. I'm exhausted. So, I probably shouldn't even be streaming. I'm still recovering from my, bullshit. No, it's alright. I was sort of like a bit over Thomas Hobbes. We do need a proper topic because I haven't actually prepped a whole lot today. I haven't actually prepped a whole ton of things for today. There was a video I was mildly interested in watching. I haven't done a video thing. Hope Mickey will be alright. They have had some progress. They were able to do something with his ureter, or whatever the situation was. Kind of disturbing. They've managed to get something out of his urinary tract. So, little bit of progress. He may not need to be put down. How do I do what? Can also help detoxing from more serious and damaging drugs. Well, I mean, true. It's a lot... What we know of it is it's a lot less harmful than other more serious drugs. Actually, no. Let's talk about the alien snow. Should we talk about the alien snow? Where'd you send it to me? Here. I did have a link to this. I had another TikTok snow conspiracy. There was another one. Yes. We're not even kidding. I had an Insider article. Yeah, do you need more explanation? Caffeine's addictive, but it probably won't destroy your life. Oh, I mean, it could. Enough caffeine intake could absolutely kill you. But you'd have to consume like a lot of coffee, for example. Let's fuck with people. Hi Draco, how's it going? The snow in Texas is alien technology. Do I know what destroys life? Bullets. Caffeine does reduce your deep sleep. That is true. That can actually have an effect. I want to see snow again. It's been a while since I've seen snow. I think I was like 14 when I first saw it. I went snowboarding. You have sandwiches. How dare you? Yeah, actually, I feel like I don't really deep sleep because I've been... Quite frankly, I definitely am addicted to caffeine. At the very least. But I did manage to get off the energy drinks earlier this year and haven't gone back to those. You know. Apple jelly on rye bread. That sounds good. Sounds good. Listening to a creepy crime story, but then you want to sleep tonight, so you came to me. My voice calms you. Aww. I appreciate that. Well, let's talk about conspiracy theory alien snow. I did like Russell Brand. He seems alright. Conspiracy theorists are claiming Bill Gates planted fake snow in Texas as it doesn't melt. Do they know what sublimation is? Let me revise. Sublimation, for those of you who are unaware, is a phase transition. Hey, Fatal Shabbat, how's it going? It's the transition of a substance directly from the solid to the gas state, without passing through the liquid state. Snow does this. Snow does this. Otherwise, areas that, I mean, don't get me wrong, areas that have been covered in snow do get wet after the fact. But if areas that routinely get covered in snow didn't go through a sublimation period, they would be underwater anytime it snowed and the heat picked up. Like, snow sublimates. It goes from solid to gas. They lost the thread, but Bill Gates is too rich not to be in prison. Oh, don't be silly. Rich people don't go to prison. They don't send rich people to... Not Bill Gates levels of rich. They don't send Bill Gates level of rich people to prison. Yeah, I mean, probably every billionaire deserves to not be a billionaire. There shouldn't be billionaires, period. We don't stand billionaires. They should be thrown away. Anyway, let's go back to this, because this is honestly hilarious. You're on 160p to avoid stuttering. Well, that's not good. That's not good. I'm sorry to hear that. What did they do? Put fake snow in a series of trucks and spray it everywhere? I know. Like, what's the answer to this? How exactly did this happen? What is the... I have to read this article to know. You like sublimation? Look up something called a triple point. I will. There is a difference between rich and wealthy. Who was it that said the quote? That it was like, your favorite basketballer is rich. The white man who pays him is wealthy. I forget who said that. I think it was a basketball player who said that. Like, your favorite sports person is... Was it Chris Rock? I think it was. Actually, yeah, I think it was. Well, it was someone. You know, someone that said that. It's not an original thought that I've just had just then. But yeah, you know, your favorite actors, your favorite sports people. Honestly, some of your favorite politicians are rich, but it's the people paying them that are wealthy. You know, the multi-billionaires. And that's a huge issue, of course. I don't think there's a problem with people being rich. There is definitely a problem with people being wealthy. Politics is hard. It's woven into everything. Okay, so conspiracy theorists are claiming that Bill Gates planted fake snow in Texas as it doesn't melt. We already covered the sublimation thing. Hello, Rena. How's it going? Conspiracy theories are becoming more commonplace by the day and are slowly making their way into the mainstream news, ranging from false claims of voter fraud, staged mass school shooting. That one pisses me off so much. Voter fraud, yeah, really a bad thing, honestly. Claiming that school shootings where children are killed are staged is fucking disturbed. Honestly, it's so fucking disturbed. I hate hearing any of that sort of shit. People who are saying that, like, which was the most well-known school shooting where people were going, oh, it was fake, it was a hoax. It was a fairly recent one. Alex Jones got really into it. I forget which one it was. Sandy Hook? I think it was Sandy Hook, yeah. That's so fucking deranged to be able to... And Parkland, yeah, probably. This one's our favorite bit. To tack on to the false claims of voter fraud, staged mass school shootings, Jewish space lasers causing the deadly forest fires in California. I'll never get over that. Jewish space lasers. Can we get some Jewish space lasers in chat? And more. Even the pandemic was viewed through the conspiracy theory lens, and still many are continuing to believe that the coronavirus pandemic is a hoax. A lot of people pushing that conspiracy theory got their validation when Donald Trump called it a hoax. Sadly, more than 500,000 people have died from the pandemic, and there's nothing not real about it. The latest event that's come under the scanner for willing conspiracy theorists is the snowstorm in Texas. I have to ask this question. I have to throw this out there. As someone who genuinely try to understand this concept here. I try to understand what the hell's going on in other people's brains. Maybe I should go into psychology instead of sociology. I don't know. But I don't understand how there are so many people willing to just completely throw aside reality in favor of some delusional conspiracy theory that's based in nothing. Like, what's the... Who scrambled these people's brains? Who took an iron? I think that what happened when these people were children is they cracked open their skulls You know, they actually opened up these babies' skulls. They got an iron out and they smoothed out all the wrinkles on their brains. And then they stitched them back up and they shipped them off to Texas. These people are koalas. Their brains look like chicken breast fillets before they've been cooked. Like, this is... And don't get me wrong, koalas are adorable, but fuck, they're dumb. Okay, I'm sorry. If you like them, go ahead. But they are fucking stupid animals. JSLs, Jews in space. Yeah, Jewish space lasers. Fucking, yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I went to say Mary Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene and her Jewish space lasers. Anyway, yes, you heard that right. They suspect the snowstorm isn't an act of nature, which is kind of ironic given as far as I'm aware. I'm going to just look this up really quickly. Percentage of Texans who are religious, 56% of Texans are religious, and they decide, let's say the snow is a Bill Gates conspiracy theory, is a Bill Gates, you know, attempt to coerce us into believing in climate change rather than an act of God. You know, the moment there is an act of God in a heavily religious area, suddenly it's not an act of God anymore. When that particular preacher was like, this flood is God punishing us for the gays, and his house got flooded. Does anyone remember who that was? I forget who it was. That particular bloke. Anyway.
Welcome
they
to
suspect
the
a snowstorm. Puff Chan and Snail, welcome to the Road Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. They suspect the snowstorm isn't an act of nature, but man-made, and by man-made we don't mean climate change, which, I mean, technically, yes, it is. If you think about it as an actual climate change thing. They believe the snow isn't real. Wrap your head around that. This is crazy. It's snowing in Texas, but the snow is not melting. More than 50 people have died from snowstorm-related incidents, but the conspiracy theorists still believe it's all a hoax. Millions have been left without power and many without water, but videos are circulating the internet claiming the snow was fake. What? Okay. Just like stop for a sec. Why? Why? I did mention the climate change thing, but it's like, that's not really that much of a justification. Why would Bill Gates, they claimed one of Biden or Gates, why would Joe Biden or Bill Gates dump tons of fake snow into Texas? Gays are dumping snow on Texas from space confirmed. What? Bill Gates could have coerced a working version of Windows Vista when he was in charge of Microsoft. Giving them the cold shoulder because they voted red? Is that what it's about? Because they voted red? Biden, you know, drove a truck down to Texas full of fake snow and just, like, tipped it out and then left? Like, what? Why was I not chosen for this gay space mission? Jay the Fox, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Is Elon Musk an alien? No, he's just a racist. Anyway, the videos were posted. Where were we? They claimed one of Biden or Gates dumped tons of fake snow on Texas to push an agenda to reverse climate change. So I was correct. Bill Gates and Joe Biden have promised to fight climate change before the video. Fight climate change. The video cited this as a reason. I mean, this again comes back to the he's a racist with emeralds. Yeah. What if snow is God's cum and they're playing with a part of God? Oh, slay me. Where were we? This is a reaping/sowing situation. What, the snow? Where were we? What was I was gonna say something about this and I've lost my train of thought. Fuck. Yes, I'm sure he's a racist. Yes, he's absolutely a racist. Did Gates do this 10 years ago too? Because this happened back then as well in Texas. Which kind of says to the, like, kind of speaks to the idea of, like, if this kind of event has happened before where people are dying as a result of severe weather that the state's not ready for, why would you not make sure your state is ready for it in the future so it doesn't happen again? so that, you know, a young mother and her daughter don't suffocate to death in their garage because they turned their car exhaust on in the garage for heat because they had no electricity, blah, 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 blah. You know? Human life has no value in the market. True. Any truers? And finally, we get to the best part of this. Well, it's not finally. It's not the last part of it. The videos were mainly posted to TikTok before being posted on Facebook, but only to be flagged as false by the platform. Because, like, they are literally, you know, they are showing it.
I'm gonna show y'all right now how I know we're in a simulator. First, you wanna grab some snow. Doesn't matter how much, just grab some snow, enough to pack it into a ball. Alright, now once you get some snow, you need a lighter.
It's Texas. They're the barbarians of the country and put no points in intellect.
You're gonna try to melt the snow. Try to melt it. It's not gonna melt.
Welcome to the road room.
I'm gonna show you right after too. Watch what it does. Ready? This is crazy.
Can I? Oh, I can pause it. Okay. Welcome to the road room, Kirby the Dragon. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Is it chemical snow? It's just snow. This is what snow does.
It's just turning black.
Yeah,
it's not even melting. It's just turning black.
It's turning black. That's what snow does. Yes, it's not like ice out of your freezer, dude. It's not the same. Like, someone needs to explain lead and frost effect of this pillock. Isn't that? Hang on. Isn't lead and frost the physical phenomenon in which a liquid close to a surface that is significantly hotter than the liquid's boiling point produces an insulating vapor layer, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I almost got it wrong. I almost said just Kirby Dragon, but then I saw the dart and I was like, okay. How do people usually misspell it? Welcome in. How you doing? One of my favorite things about the Leidenfrost effect is the people who have like running melted metal and they're slapping the running melted metal. It's like pouring, it's like lava. And they're just slapping at it because the Leidenfrost effect protects their hand from getting burnt. If you were to sink your hand in it, you'd lose your hand, but they can slap this molten metal. And it's fucking great. What do we think about Bob Ross? He seems pretty cool. What I've seen of him, he seems pretty cool, yeah. If you expose an open flame to ice, it's not just going to turn the snow to water. Yeah, exactly. That's not how that works. You can definitely melt snow. You can melt ice into water. But snow does sublimate, generally speaking. Jalen G, welcome in. How's it going? Anyway, the video is showing people trying to heat a snowball over an open flame show the ice wasn't melting. Like, if you take an ice cube out of your freezer, I need to get some ice cubes to double check this, but like, and if you take an ice cube out of your freezer and do the same thing, honestly, I think you probably could melt it with a lighter, which is maybe where they're getting this obscene idea from. Some people are, oh, have I still got Texas in the title? Oh yeah, the snow in Texas is alien technology. What was I gonna say? I've forgotten. Need to test this for science. I don't have an ice cube tray, so I can't test. I can't test if, you know, you can just hold an ice cube up to a lighter, a regular lighter. I mean, snow is ice, but it's more complicated than that chemically. Math fails again. Was there supposed to be like a slash through it? We need an easily accessible. We need an easily accessible does not equal thing. Yeah, we're talking conspiracy theories. We're talking this stupid thing. That conspiracy theorists are claiming Bill Gates planted fake snow in Texas. Hang on. I've got water. That's all good. I thought I was gonna have to leave the room. Pretty sure you light any ice with butane, and it turns that color. Well, that might be it too. Keep in mind, I am not. Love that it's a troop doing it. I know that says a lot, doesn't it? Is meth? It could be. Maybe these people just have a ton of meth in their front yard, and they forgot, and they're just burning their meth. I don't know. Anyway, Another guy took it one step further and put a snowball in the oven to prove it didn't melt. For those who haven't felt the force of a snowstorm and suspect it to be a hoax, let me introduce you to the concept of sublimation. The process of sublimation is when solid moves to a gaseous state before becoming a liquid. Under normal conditions, a solid turns into a liquid before turning into a gaseous state. Sublimation is the process when a cold solid is heated so fast that it turns to gas without becoming a liquid. With this being used as a conspiracy theory before, meteorologists have already debunked the no melting snow claim. Well, yeah, I suppose like somebody made an extension for Twitch. Got to see the oven video. Where's the oven video? Is this the one? No, this is just fake snow explained. No. And there's Mudaha. No. Fake snow oven, Texas. Where's the oven video? I want the oven video. No, unless let's watch this particular video. Maybe you're back with important test results. Hit us. Here we go. Hang on. I'll watch this bit.
Okay, I'm gonna get some from underneath here. Obviously, has not been touched. I'm gonna compact it into a nice tight ball.
The ice cube blackened. You know what that says to me, Draco? The ice in your freezer is a drone planted there by Bill Gates and Microsoft to spy on you and inject your arms with microchips to track your every move. Get out of the house. Hey, Audie Bird, how's it going?
But you can see that the mass is getting smaller.
Yeah, it is. So what's going on is when you heat something like this, it goes from a solid to a gas. It's called sublimation. It doesn't go from a solid to a liquid, i.e. melting. So this is actually disappearing by going into vapor. So, see, it's not melting.
But there's no liquid dripping from it.
Is it real snow, Alex? Go ahead, taste it. Go ahead, taste it. I double dog dare you, taste it.
It's not yellow.
Genuine Richmond snow.
Came from the atmosphere.
There you go. Done. 53 seconds of science to prove conspiracy theorists wrong. Easy mode. How much do you reckon they, like, if you showed this to a person who believes in this conspiracy theory, again, these people are delusional, what do you think they would say to that? What do you think they would, how would they respond? You can tell these people aren't used to snow. Yeah, I know. These Texas people are not used to snow. Hey, us Aussies aren't real. Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Please stop telling them I'm putting on the accent for the sake of entertainment. People are gonna, like... Okay, listen, I have to come forward with you guys. My actual name is Jennifer, and I live in Southern California. And I'm actually a very rich e-girl. Subscribe to my Patreon. No. Yeah, tell these people aren't used to it. I swear, genuinely speaking, I feel like my I think that's shut up! I'm not good at my accents. Again, if I do an OnlyFans, it's only gonna be fitness shit. I promise you, it's gonna be a lot of this. But that would be, I have to get my act together with my diet and my workout regimen before I can post, like, you know, full blown. Here's my workout of the day. Here's my diet of the day. You know, that would be what it would be. Bam, if you want. Type exclamation mark OnlyFans in chat. You can do that if you want. What does a SoCal accent even sound like? I don't even know. What up, FJ? How's it going? Okay, we're talking about conspiratorial snow in the United States. That was more Canadian, I think. I think I need to improve. I need to go back and revise a lot of my accents that I used to do, eh? Thank you for the posture check. Oh my goodness. We're talking about evil snow. What happened in Texas is very real, was very real. The polar vortex, the winter's ultra-cold air that is usually kept bottled up 15 to 30 miles high, headed south towards Texas, causing the worst snowstorm in over 3 decades. Cold air usually spins on top of the planet, but occasionally something slams against the top, sending it in a different position, reported NBC News. In a different direction, sorry. This time the cold wind blew towards Texas, causing the snowstorm. Internet conspiracy people talking about the snow in Texas is fake because it doesn't melt under a flame. Did I see the meme you put in Discord? You'll have to show me again. Midwestern American? Fuck, I don't even know what accents I'm doing. Texas takes killing its citizens very seriously, and they do it well. I hate how that's a joke, but it's not a joke. And Texas loves its oil and genocide. Why would you move to Texas? Quite frankly, just don't move to Texas, folks. If you are thinking about it, don't do it. You will end up dead. Scientists are unsure of the exact cause, but believe it to be a combination of natural random weather and man-made climate change. It's been a major breakdown, said Jennifer Francis, a climate scientist at the Woodwell Climate Research Center on Cape Cod. It really is the cause of all these crazy weather events in the Northern Hemisphere. It's been unusual for a few weeks now. Very, very crazy, Francis said. Totally topsy-turvy. A white settler state liking genocide? No, never. Raised here, yeah, don't move here. We're through the looking glass. We're in the wonderland. We're set. Yeah, I've said that a few times now, Chris. The idea that, like, we keep seeing satirical articles coming out and I'm just like, I'm not 100% sure that's an onion piece, you know? I'm looking at news articles nowadays and like the fucking, quite frankly, this is how absurd it is. The My Pillow guy with the Antifa sluts thing, I had to look up to see if it was satire. It was. But you know, quite frankly, given what's been coming out of some Republicans' mouths, I would not have thought for a second that that was satire. The Antifa sluts. The situation with the Antifa sluts is the guy, the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, suggested there were Antifa temptresses. Well, it was a piss take article. It was a satire article that suggested what Mike Lindell said was that there were these Antifa temptresses going to sleep with the protesters at Capitol Hill before it happened and put drugs in their vaginas to make them like rabid and radical and cause the riot to happen. Because that dude's crazy, because that man is crazy, he's legitimately insane. I read that article and I was like, I don't know if this is a satire piece or not. Turns out it was. I'm wearing blush. That's what that I'm wearing, literally wearing blush. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what good satire is, quite frankly. That's what satire is. That's what good satire is when you can read it and you can say to yourself, huh. When you question yourself and you think, well, the thing is that could be a real situation. That's good satire. I think I can figure out why your name is that. You can see my outfit. Blush looks cute. We can see my outfit. We can do an outfit check. We can do a fit check. Check me out. I got white shorts, which, you know what's great about being trans? I can wear white shorts and never have to worry about particular stains on them. Anyway. Oh, check out the legs. Can we get a legs check? Can we get some legs in chat? Look at fucking quads. I did the legs today. Oh my god. Yeah, let me do. Sorry, I just want to flex my calves on all you haters in chat, because I know for a fact, Sweetums, you don't look anywhere near as good as me. That's a freebie. I have beautiful legs, beautiful glutes. Come at me. What is this? Calves are your only good muscles. My mother asked me about my calves recently. She was like, how do I get calves as good as yours? And I had to fight the temptation to say to her, I've been training legs for 4 years. Unicorn, I'll give you a timeout. I feel like the timeout command is a bit silly, but, you know, we're keeping it for now. Oh, you have hella carbs, you can't wear boots because of them. I feel like I know what you mean, but I haven't got any big boots. My only boots come up to, like, just above my, ankles, I guess. Not ankles. Is it ankles? I don't know my foot physiology, okay? Sexy legs. Like the shirt. The Dark Souls shirt. This is a good one. It's a classic. Love this. I remember when I bought this. The guy who worked at the store where I bought it. I was looking through the store rack and he's like, I was looking through the shirt rack and he says, you're not going to buy that one, are you? And I said, what's wrong with it? He said, it's got Dark Souls on it. I was like, oh, you cunt. Oh, you cunt. No, I'm not going to bend over. Wait. Let's go back to... We've already read that bit. I understand most Texans are unfamiliar with the way snow behaves, but this fake snow conspiracy has really gotten to me. I think this is my last straw. Jeans fit weirdly if you don't have thin calves. Oh, great. I got that to look forward to. I don't have any pairs of jeans left. I've gotten rid of all of mine. Time out. University of Georgia meteorology professor Marshall Shepard pointed fingers at climate change. There is evidence that climate change can weaken the polar vortex, which allows more chances for frigid Arctic air to ooze into the lower 48, said Shepard. No scientist ever looked up at the sky and went, Bill Gates is at it again. What do I think about the Illuminati? There's a lot more in that conspiracy than I'm willing to unpack tonight, I don't think. I think. Leggings. What about jeggings? Can we get some jeggings in chat? Alright, here we go. I got a poll for you, chat. I got a poll for you. Ready? And just for the heck of it, we'll give you slacks. Which pantaloons, jeans, leggings, jeggings, slacks? You have 4 choices. Jeggings make your fupa look weird. It's a bow. What are you, dumb? Oh, we got one for slacks. We got one for slacks. I'm gonna buy a pair of jeggings. So I'm gonna put my vote for jeggings. There you go. I do like my leggings though. I do quite like my leggings. Jeggings cure mental illness. There we go. I have all the more reason. If jeggings are gonna cure, I mean, I shouldn't say this. This is a bad thing to say. I was gonna say, if jeggings are gonna cure my autism, but autism's not a mental illness. So that's like that's the end of the article, basically. So the new conspiracy theory is that the snow is fake snow created by Bill Gates. I can't drink enough to keep up with this shit anymore. So leggings are just like a very comfy, snug pair of pants that just like they're elastic, they're stretchy. Just go over your legs, and they hug your legs, basically. And jeggings are leggings that are designed to look like jeans. So they're quite nice. Can't cure autism, can only get super autism. Look at my hair. My hair's getting long. I'm liking it. What's wrong with you people tonight? Can you guys, like, start drinking so you pass out and leave us alone? Can I suggest that? When they launched the Tesla into space, the dummy was actually Melinda Gates. That's why Bill has been respecting Elon more. Oh, fuck. That's awful. We've already done the whole... So yeah, for anyone who is still wondering, suggest a poll. Leggings or tracky dackies? Could have added tracky dackies. It seems like jeans won that poll. Alright. Unicorn, let's do your poll instead. I'm honestly still in the, that means tracksuit pants for anyone who's curious. Have you ever seen Melinda Gates or Elon Musk in the same room? I mean, true. With Kanye at the orgies. Let's learn about sublimation, shall we? Or should we change to another topic? Now that we've sort of gone over the fake fucking... The fake snow. Who wears pants with buttons? 1, 2, I've got 3 buttons. I have 3 buttons on these shorts. How about this one? How about this thing? This is really weird, honestly. Amazon is running glossy anti-union ads to combat the organizing drive by workers at their Bessemer, Alabama warehouse. An Alabama resident said this spot is one of several that Amazon is now running on Twitch. This is quite disturbing to hear about, quite frankly. Amazon running anti-union ads. Let's have a look.
We at the Birmingham team have a great leadership. We really don't need anyone coming in and telling us what they want to give us, because basically we have everything we need here.
Okay, like, just that we're like, what, 15 seconds in, and this sounds like she has a gun pointed at her head. She's reading off a script and she has a gun pointed at her head. This is disturbing, dude. This person is being held at gunpoint.
Always wanted to work for Amazon. This is the only place I've seen that have benefits from day one. There's no waiting period. You got chances to advance.
Vote no for the union?
I would vote no.
It's not needed.
Vote no, we can do it without the dues.
Dude. Dude, oh my god. Oh, that is unsettling. Leggings wins with 3 votes. There you go. That's... Oh my god. Running a second ad on Twitch in Alabama urging its workers and Bessemer to vote no on the union. Have a look at this one. Another one. There's another one.
A union rep in Los Angeles at International Airport. And they don't do nothing but take your money. They just take your money. And they don't do anything for you. I would keep what Amazon got. I love it. Yeah, I want to make my career here. I don't need the union. I'm going to vote no.
I think the union coming in here would be devastating.
We're all one. Let's get it done.
This reminds me of back when I used to work at Kohl's, and they would there was routinely, you know, this general work atmosphere towards like, oh, you don't actually need the union. It was not convincing at all. There was nothing in there. Like, please, people, can we think stealing union phrasing to fight the union? We're all one. Let's get it done. Yeah, like that's what the union does, guys. The union protects you. We'll say this, not all unions are good. Yet not all unions are good, and that's kind of the agenda they're pushing here. They're pushing the agenda that not all unions are good, but the issue they're pushing specifically is no unions are good. That's what they're going for. It's Vimto. What's Vimto? Gotta start your day now, Radio Detroit. Have a good one. Sorry I missed you there. Have a good one. We have everything we need. Please can I see my children again? Join radical unions. What's the difference between a yellow union and a rat? Or are you making a joke that I'm not getting? Am I missing a joke? Sometimes you feel like capitalism wants to extinguish the human race. Oh, you think? Whoa, what was your first clue? Unions that are run by the company. Oh, okay, okay. Let's have a look. Let's look at this. Okay, so like my personal opinion, based on what little I do know, a company union or a radical union. Can you repeat your comment? What'd you say? Actually know quite a bit about the warehouse because it's close to where you live. Oh, is that what you meant, or was there a different one? They found people talking about unionizing at the stoplight, so Amazon actually went and adjusted it so the green light comes faster. Really? Amazon actually changed the way a stoplight works to keep people from talking about unionizing sitting at the light. What the fuck? Seriously? Strange Witch's Brew, which tastes like vile carbonated, but like God's ambrosia one. Oh, it tastes vile carbonated, but like God's ambrosia one still. What is the strong relationship between trans people and communism? Good question, honestly. I've noticed a ton of trans communists. Yeah, on Twitch, on YouTube in general. Good point. I think it's just, you know, we tend to align with lefty policies that, I mean, I don't know specifically about the communism thing, but I mean, I've noticed a lot of, you know, leftist trans people specifically because it's a more progressive movement, but I don't know about the communism thing specifically. I'd have to do more research on that. I have not actually read too deeply into communist ideology. Communism is literally back. You tell what you mean. Okay, so let's have a look here. So a company or yellow union is a worker organization which is dominated or influenced by an employer and therefore is not an independent trade union. Company unions are contrary to international labor law. They are outlawed in the United States by the 1935 National Labor Relations Act due to their use as agents for interference with independent unions. Company unions persist in many countries, particularly with authoritarian governments. I mean, that's not at all shocking there. Yeah. Like, the idea, of course, of the union is that it protects the rights of the workers so that they're not being abused by their workplace and giving them the things that workers do deserve. And if you have a union that operates entirely from within... This is the weird thing. The union that I did join when I was working for the supermarket, I forgot what it was called now, but it was actually sort of advertised to us when we joined, when we went through our final interview with the company, and as a result, it felt a bit sus. You know, we're going through the interview process for this company and they're handing out a leaflet for a union. Feels particular, and as far as I know, I'd have to look into it, but I've forgotten the name of it now. I don't work for them anymore, so I don't really care that much. But it did feel particularly not really on the level. Communism is an ideology that says trans people are humans with full rights. Liberalism and everything right if that doesn't protect or acknowledge the rights of trans people. Fair. Tranarchists. Yes, more tranarchists, please. This says they changed it to keep traffic from backing up, but it's the only light near where unionizing workers stand. Oh, I see. So basically, always unionize, yes. Plenty of socialist positions that treat trans as people too. I mean, what I've seen of socialist positions is they're generally pretty accepting of trans people. I don't think it's necessarily communism respects trans people more than socialism does, what I've seen of it anyway, but... Again, like, this is one of the points of contention I have with myself personally, is I need to understand a lot more of these particular issues on a deeper level. So if you've got any sources I can look at, please hit me with them. Okay, so radical labor unions. Anti-labor commentators in the 19th century would have argued that all unions are by their very nature radical because they make unreasonable demands upon the owners of property. But in the era of domestication of most labor organizations, we can more closely define radical labor unions as those unions that espouse the goal of working towards the final collapse of the capitalist system. Did I find more about that thing you DM'd me about? Let me have a look. Was it on Twitch or was it in... Let me have a look here. What did you DM me about? Oh, the sorcerer thing. No, actually, you know what? It's 10:32. Let's take a quick break. I want another coffee. I know it's late. I shouldn't be drinking coffee. But I need to perk myself up a bit. Let's take a quick break. And we'll come back very shortly. And we'll continue. We can continue. Well, let's talk about unions a bit more. And then we'll talk about sorcerers. I'll leave you to ruminate on whatever the fuck that means. Yellow, yellow, I'm back. How's it hanging? What's going on? Did I leave the music going? Oh, it's just the start of a song. What's happening, folks? What's happening? What's up, Asian girl? Who have I missed? A wizard squared, a source of magic, a sorcerer. Ha 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 ha. Wondering if I found the source. Yes, let's find the source. Of. Did sorcerer refer to gay people? Okay, that's not helping at all. I can't find... There was... I honestly cannot recall where I read this. I don't want... Yeah, accept cookies, whatever. I honestly... I don't even know where I would begin. I read something online and I have been unable to find it since. I have Googled on several occasions recently. Something to the effect of the word sorcerer in much older times. I have jelly. For the record. I read something about, yeah, sorcery. La practice of seyor or sorcery was considered ergi in the Viking Age. And in Icelandic countries and medieval Scandinavian laws, the term aga had connotations of a receptive, passive or papal of a freeborn man during homosexual intercourse. Yeah, it's very weird. It was sort of a thing that cropped up briefly online, on Twitter. Everyone was like, "Oh, did you know, sorcerer used to refer to gay people," and somebody posted an actual source that referred to it. Why did you auto Spanish app translate? That's awesome. Auto Spanish translations. Anyway, yeah. I've been unable to find any follow-up on that. Might have been a hoax, maybe. Or I may have imagined it. Just popping your head in to remind Abby you're here forever and you'll never leave her, ever. Have a great night, have a good one, Kaz. Very, very weird situation. Anyway, howdy, Cannoli, what's going on? What's today's topic? We've been kind of all over the place. We've talked about a number of different things, but... We started off discussing Anthem. Now we're just like, on whatever. I'm just gonna set my thing to I am a gay sorcerer. Because, why not? Another link to the Union thing? Here we go. The Verge. Amazon... Here we go. Thank you, Rena. Let's continue on the Union thing. Amazon changed traffic light timing during Union Drive, county officials say. Organizers say the change made union efforts harder. Unsurprisingly, Amazon committing to anti-union. Oh my goodness.
Welcome back, supporter of the cause.
Demacia. Thank you for gifting subs to Totally Real Human, Maria, Babbling Goat, Chris,
You
and
are now
Cannoli.
one of us.
Oh my god. Welcome to the sub lounge, everyone. That's incredible. Thank you so kindly. Thank you so much. What do I say in response to this? I'm gonna need to change...
You are now one of us.
I feel like I'm gonna need to change, what's it called? I'm gonna need to change my alert sounds for Botwick saying,
You are now one of us.
And Cannoli, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Is Babbling Goat in chat? I don't know. You can check, I think you can check users in chat, can't you? I'm not going to. I feel like that's a bit weird.
You are now one of us.
Yeah, I need to change that sound effect, I think. It's not exciting enough. It's not interesting enough. But anyway, 5 new subbies. Thank you so kindly. It means a lot to me.
Welcome
it really
to
does.
the Rogue Room.
Welcome to the Rogue Room. There it is. Never knew you could do that. Wait, you never knew you could do, what, the hook thing or something else? Oh, do you mean like someone else's emotes in another streamer's chat? Yeah. That's a thing. I'll check who's in chat. Okay, that would make more sense. Thanks, Botwig. Anyways, as we were talking about, as part of its ongoing fight over an Alabama warehouse's efforts to unionize, Amazon reportedly changed the timing of a traffic light outside the warehouse, according to reporting by More Perfect Union. Union organizers at the site had previously accused the company of altering the timing so that pro-union workers would not be able to canvass workers while stopped at the light. Until recently, the altered timing on the traffic light outside the factory had been dismissed as a rumor, but more perfect union confirmed with Jefferson County officials last year. Amazon notified the county of traffic delays during shift changes and asked for the light to be changed. On December 15th, the county increased the green light duration in an effort to clear workers off the worksite faster. There's no indication that the county was aware of the ongoing organizing drive or any effect light changes may have had on the effort. I mean, that definitely strikes me as a strictly union-busting kind of move. And, you know, union-busting bad. People should be allowed to unionize. People should be allowed to demand better working conditions, better benefits under the company they work for, especially if it's fucking Amazon. It's quite frankly a perfect little demonstration of just how obscenely capitalist a corporation like Amazon is. You know, this is one of the wealthiest companies in the entire world. And they are so petty as to have the traffic light timing changed to shut down union canvassing. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely absurd. You know? Let's see here. A week ago, we broke the story that union organizers in Alabama accused Amazon of working to change traffic light patterns outside its Bessemer warehouse in order to hinder their efforts to talk to workers. We have pursued that story, and tonight we have breaking news. A Jefferson County public official has confirmed that Amazon asked for the traffic light patterns to be altered outside its Alabama warehouse, of course with the excuse being, oh, they want to get workers home faster, or whatever it is. Yeah, it's honestly, Jalen, that's kind of the case with anyone who has any significant amount of money. It feels like to me. Like any person or company who's got more money than sense, who's got more, well, I suppose more money than sense is kind of a misnomer, but the idea of, you know, this is where conservatism comes from, quite frankly. Once you have enough, you don't want anyone else to have any of what you've got. Even if it is your, kind of like as you know, Amazon, who is employing these people, should allow them the right to unionize, should allow them the right to, what's the phrase here? Should allow them to band together and demand better working conditions and better benefits and all that sort of thing. Where were we? What have I missed? What about, I feel like there's a whole lot going on in chat right now that I'm glancing over and I'm not getting any of it. Has been taught to humans by centuries of capitalist and regulation chokes profits. Yes, it does. Gotta collectivize capitalist and consumerist behavior. Yeah, I don't think it's not necessarily innate, but it is a direct result of, yes, years of wrestling for control and power. You know, we go back to, like, how far back do we have to go to find a root for capitalistic ideology, for example? How far back do we have to go before we say, okay, this is where capitalism directly stems from? Because what was the case back in, by the way, we got 169 subs. Can we get some nice in chat? How far back would you go in terms of human history to define a point at which, okay, this is where capitalism kicked off? Colonization is a good start, but yeah, even before then, like part of me wants to say something like, you know, what's it called? Like feudal kingdoms and things like that, where there were, you know, obviously families, regent families, where, you know, the power was passed down generation to generation, and, you know, they had came in proper in the 1700s, 1800s. Yeah, Japan and rice kingdoms, feudal agrarianism. I'm trying to think, like, you know, kingdoms and stuff like that, in a sense, in a way. Where were we? What have I missed in the Japan and rice kingdoms mentioned? Now all you can think of is Bill Wirtz. What has Bill Wirtz done? I don't know who that is. I am very dumb tonight, so forgive me if I come across as very dumb. Maybe I need to spend like tomorrow doing a ton of research on stuff so that I've got more things to talk about. I'm very, very dumb today. I entirely do not apologize. Feudalism was a specific thing to Britain and northern France, and out of those contexts did not exactly exist as many believe it to. What am I eating? I'm eating jelly, or jello to some. The feudalism, also known as the feudal system, was a combination of the legal, economic, military, and cultural customs that flourished in medieval Europe during the 9th and 15th centuries. Between the 9th and 15th centuries. Broadly defined, it was a way of structuring society around relationships that were derived from the holding of land in exchange for service or labor. Although it is derived from the Latin word feodum or feudum, which was used during the medieval period, the term feudalism and the system which it describes were not conceived of as a formal political system by the people who lived during the Middle Ages. Unshocking. The classic definition by Francois-Louis Ganchoff described a set of reciprocal legal and military obligations which existed among the warrior nobility and revolved around the three concepts of lords, vassals, and fiefs. Have I mastered the Twitch algorithm? At 26 viewers? No, most certainly not. If we can bump up those numbers, those are rookie numbers. Those are rookie numbers. Feudalism is a European Asian thing for the most part, historically. That's what I was going to say. It's like, I know of, like, say, feudalist Japan, but it's like, here we're reading about feudalism in a sense that doesn't even reference Asia in any capacity. So now my whole concept of feudalism is shattered, you know. Well, psychopathy used to exist as a concept, but what we know of psychopathy now is it's much like with the term Asperger's syndrome. The term has been shifted and changed. I'd have to go back through what have I missed? What are you folks talking about? I don't believe all people are psychopaths, but they do exist, and it takes a small cabal to seize power. Still people with strong traits towards the pursuit of power and control. Could we, I mean, don't get me wrong, I am not an expert on any of this, but could we argue that perhaps those traits, again, if we come back around to the idea of like familial hierarchies, I forget what they're called, my brain is fried. If we come back to the concept of familial hierarchies, does it not mean that, well, there's the tricky part, is like that idea had to come from somewhere, but then is it not taught generation to generation? Talking about bringing our current societal structure to a halt without draconian measures. I see. I think I get you. Fiance handed you food. Good shit. Good shit. I'm hoping, as I am continuing with my degree. I am actually going to be going forward with it. And I'm hoping once I get a broader understanding of these concepts, we can have these discussions at length, and I will be able to actually contribute to the discussion, because I'm very stupid. I'm just going to keep deriding myself. I'm not even on the alcohol tonight. I'm not even self-loathing on the alcohol. It's the jelly. Strong advocate for the long approach through properly educating the future generations on cooperation and empathy towards their fellow man. I would argue the same. I would argue that we cannot really... This is the issue that we have, especially in a political system that is so divisive and adversarial. The issue that we come across is that you've got one... Generally speaking, if we go really, really basic, we go one side or the other. You've got one side who would love to have everyone get along and slowly work towards a better future where everybody has their place in the world and no one is oppressed, nobody is left behind and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got the other side of things where they think only the strong survive and only those with power should have any sort of any sort of input on the way society is run, blah blah blah. You get the idea. The very extreme of either end of the spectrum. And the issue is that both of these mindsets are pervasive in modern society. Like perpetual, I should say, not pervasive, perpetual in modern society. Like they don't go away. Socialism isn't going to disappear when Bernie Sanders dies. Donald Trump getting removed as president didn't kill fascism. These concepts are still going to go on long after they're dead. The only way that it's going, the only way these kinds of arguments are going to stop, the only way this kind of division is going to stop among some people who would like no wars and some people who want more, for example. Again, being very, very... being a Sith right now. Only the Sith deal in absolutes. That's a Sith. That's an absolute there, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Being very, very broad about the concept. Like these ideas in people's minds are not gonna go away in 1 generation, not gonna go away in 5 generations, not gonna go away in 10 generations. At least that's the way I've been able to see it. Sociology supports the fact that yes, we are indeed a social species. Crazy that. But it's more deeper concepts around social sciences that I would like to understand. Specifically geological sociology. What's the thing we were looking at? Geological racism. Where were we? All humans are good. I mean, I think all humans have the capacity for good, but maybe that's a failing of my empathic nature. Here is me who wants people to be better. Geological racism, not geographical racism. Environmental racism. Again, I'm tired and I'm still recovering from illness. Environmental racism specifically, we talked about this the other day, is the fact that in lower income areas, people are provided with less opportunities, for example, to get healthy, fresh food, especially in America. Whereas in wealthier, say for example, you go to a poorer suburban area and there's just tons and tons of fast food joints. But if you go to a wealthier area, they've got a bunch of supermarkets, more easily accessible. Whereas in that poorer area, to get to a supermarket, generally speaking, you'll have to drive for like 20 fucking minutes or whatever. Whereas the people who are wealthier, it's a 2-minute walk around the block. All of a sudden there's a supermarket there and there's, healthier options. They can buy their own fresh fruit and veg. As opposed to building up housing around a McDonald's for poor people to live in. And that's a very base concept of environmental racism. Structuring poor environments, structuring environments, generally speaking, designed for black folks around things that are going to make them unhealthy and going to make them dependent on a capitalistic model like eating McDonald's all the time instead of driving to the supermarket. Urban planning is ideological propaganda. Urban planning's a mess. Architecture is fascist. And hot chocolate is socialism. We demand hot chocolate. In some places that means not even having fresh tap water. Exactly. Yes. Did an actual course on it. You have some further information for us. Please help enlighten me. If you've got some actual links to things. Walmart brings in the masses of the crazies. Do we want to talk about the crazies? The idea of the crazies? I dare say, I can't speak to... You know what, let's use Google. I have my PC here available to me. We see a lot of this in... for example, TV shows like hardcore porn. Do you remember hardcore porn? It would always be, they run a porn store in, was it Detroit or whatever it was? And, what was I saying? They, a big factor of the show is routinely they would have like, not that kind of porn, guys. PAWN, pay attention. They would routinely have these crazies coming into the store. Look at this person going off their head because I wouldn't trade in their Nintendo 64 or whatever the fuck. Sorry, this is a fake. This isn't a real piece of jewelry. And then these people would routinely go off their heads. And we talk about Walmart brings in the masses of crazies. They tend to build Walmarts in low-income areas where there are a lot of people who are suffering from mental illness. Why would you suspect the people in low-income areas might suffer from mental illness. Couldn't be a genetic factor. Might potentially be due to the low-income life that they are living. Maybe. Because people living in low-income areas, routinely, a lot of the circumstances of their living promote bad mental health. Like we mentioned the fast food before, putting bad chemicals into your body, like that's just one factor of many. Promotes, like bad dietary issues lead to bad mental issues. Again, factor one. And then we have people who are raised by people who are already mentally ill. Let's just say someone who was raised in an abusive household goes on to have children, and because of that abuse, they think that's just how they're supposed to treat other people. They end up treating their kids like that, and their kids develop mental issues, and the cycle perpetuates. And if people can't get out of that circumstance, and if people are in low-income areas and the education system in that area is not funded, that's a huge thing. The education system is not funded well enough to get people to a point where they begin to understand the mental issues they may have. And of course, the lack of opportunities in terms of income, the lack of ability, the lack of social mobility, that's the word I'm looking for. The lack of social mobility doesn't allow them to get out of those circumstances. God, that bruise looks fucking gross, man. Just pretend it's a birthmark or something. Anyway, it's unmitigated abuse as an intentional choice. Absolutely sadistic white supremacy it is. Absolutely. People living in poor areas, people living where Walmart is common, and you come across, I mean, I live in an area where I've come across a ton of rude people, and my area is, I'm in a weird area. I live in a low income area, right next to like a median income area, like a medium income area, like right across the road, some really nice houses. And then you drive like 5 minutes down the road and they got these really clean suburbs. And every house is brand new and sparkling and they're multi-story and it's ridiculous. And over here where I live, all these houses are old, crumbling pieces of shit. I didn't smack anything. I got a needle, I got blood taken. They had to stab me 3 times, by the way. Collide Duck Scope, love the name. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us here in the Rogue Room. I had to go to the hospital like a week ago or so, and
Welcome
they took
to the
blood.
Rogue Room.
Chris, Kyle, McLaughlin, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and continue to chill out with us. I'm sorry I've missed like most of your conversation because I've been on a totally different topic. Let's reconvene, shall we? Let's all focus on one thing. Yeah, I had blood taken because I was in the hospital for chest pains. They did an X-ray, they did an ECG, they did a cannula. They drew blood and they left the cannula in. And I scratched my face with the cannula in while I was half asleep, dropped my arm on the arm of the recliner I was half asleep in, and then I was like, oh, that's right, there's a plastic needle sitting in my arm. Ow. They did this hand with the needle, missed the vein or artery. They did this, the inside of this elbow, missed the artery. They finally got it in this one, and then I ended up injuring myself. Still aches. Oh my god, lack of mental health care, plus poverty, plus abuse is just one big messy cycle, yep. Pretty much. And this is why we say Black Lives Matter. Can we get some Black Lives Matter in chat, folks? This routine, this is a big white supremacy problem. And again, this is one of the reasons I want to go into actually studying this stuff. Actually knowing what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I know the base concepts. Pulling the threads out of my skull here. Honestly, just fucking play Grand Theft Auto. Just drive around Grand Theft Auto and look at the way that they've laid out Los Santos. That gives you a good inclination as to how things are. Wait, is Soybek... Or is it Sobek? No, it's Sobek. What the Egyptian god of semen or whatever it was. I forget. Anyways. Anywho's. This is why, yeah, I'd like to know more about this stuff so I can more adequately speak on it. I believe I did say a god of semen, yes. Not a god of semen. As in, Sobek, also called Sebek, to make matters worse, was an ancient Egyptian deity with a complex and fluid nature. He is associated with the Nile crocodile or the West African crocodile, and is represented in either in its form or as a human with a crocodile head. Sobek was associated with pharaonic power, fertility, and military prowess, but served additionally as a protective deity with apotropaic qualities, invoked particularly for protection against the dangers presented by the Nile. Soybek is the vegan version of Sobek, there you go. So, one of the gods of fertility, associated with fertility, which I'm assuming means male fertility in this instance. I'm sure if someone were to unpack that a little bit more, you would find the semen connection. The only reason I know of that is because of H-Bomber Guy. And any comprehensive religion will have a cum god. Yes, they need to. Fertility and military, that doesn't sound like a problematic combination at all. No. I mean, hey, listen, look, if we can cancel Genghis Khan, if we can cancel Genghis Khan 800 years after his death, we can cancel ancient Egypt. We can cancel 800 Egypt. We can cancel ancient Egypt. Veganism for the win. I do gay magic. Yes, I should learn some sleight of hand tricks. Here we go. Every gay does gay magic. Alright, Demacia, let's see if we can fit this into the title bar. This is going to end up... Okay, here we go. This is going to be controversial. Go. Sleight of hand with dick or vagina cards. Do you go beard or mullet? Get your votes in now, folks. Someone has, there we go. We got 3 votes now. 3 votes from beard, 1 from mullet. Wibbly woobly, you are now straight. Well, Demacia redeemed a poll, so we got a poll. Well, beards go on the front of the face, mullets go on the back of the head. So that's, you know, how it generally goes. You're not allowed to spoil it, Martin. Oh my god. Well, okay. Should we talk about addressing poverty and mental illness? What does that mean? So the toilet paper hanging forwards would be beard, hanging backwards would be mullet. Does that make sense? Back facing forwards or backwards? I should have added that in there. Woobly weebly, you are now gay again. Skidoodle, skidaddle, skidoodle, your dick is now a noodle. There is a cat emote. There's a cat emote. I mean, there we go. Calgar, hello.
You brought guests.
You know what I haven't done in a while? I'm just gonna be lazy. I'm gonna be really lazy. Have some flashing lights. Hello, Calgar. How'd your stream go? What were you folks getting up to tonight? Let's go. I need to give Calgar a shout out, absolutely. That's necessary, because Calgar is friendo. Just chatting. What were we getting up to? Tell us all about it. Tell us about the stream friendo. Streamed cocktails. Well, we can expect more of that very soon. In a couple of days' time. Did you make any good ones? How'd they taste? There we go. We got raid lights. This is your raid lights. This is as good as you get. This is as good as you get. I'm very, very lazy. Okay, 10 people said beard, 3 said mullet with regards to toilet paper. There you go. Skididi, skidaddy, and you're now in love with Happy. I'm not drunk, by the way. I'm just very tired and recovering from illness. So if I sound like I'm slurring my speech, because I am very fatigued and on my 5th coffee of the day, I think. And it's not keeping me awake. But we were talking about mental illness, poverty, and economic inequality, I suppose. We got here from discussing unions. We haven't really been on any specific topic tonight. We've been all over the place. We talked about Anthem, though. For anyone coming in from Calgar stream, we did talk about the failure, the fall, the final nail in the coffin of Anthem. Anthem is dead. Can we get some crabs in the chat? It's made a couple of Moscow mules and also a Mai Tai. Refining your Estes Flask cocktail. Had a cool person drop by and give you advice on the Estes cocktail too, which he couldn't try out because he didn't have a grapefruit on hand. Interesting. Talked about Anthem for like 2 minutes. I was all over the place talking about Anthem. Because, like, I knew most of the information. They finally killed it, Grumpy. They finally did. They did. They finally went out of their way and said, you know what? Anthem next is just not going to happen. Especially given, like, I've mentioned this a few times in the past. One of the things that came up when Anthem was in its death throes, but not quite dead yet. They were talking about the idea of bringing Anthem back as either a sequel or a paid DLC to fix it. And that really rubbed me the wrong way. And, I mean, no, I'm not upset about it, quite frankly. I'm not at all upset about it. But, I mean, I do agree it would have been neat if they did redeem it, but I wasn't holding out any hope. So were you actually playing it, Calgar, at any point, or were you just holding out hope that it would come back?
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Podcast Daddy, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. A little too late, yeah. Basically 2 years after it released, you know, the effective reality of the situation is they shelved it after their first major DLC dropped, which was insignificant. Everybody just glanced over it. And then they just, like, again, I mentioned this earlier, they should have No Man's Skied it. They should have put BioWare to work on continuing to pump out content and fixing the systems in the game, but instead what they decided they would do is, you know, the response to it was so bad, they said, let's push it aside, give it to a small team, and not talk about it for the foreseeable future until eventually it was just too little too late, and they had to shut it down, because there's just not... Quite frankly, I think the reason that they shut it down was, like, if you looked at the player base numbers, nobody was playing Anthem, and nobody would have been keen to come back to it, quite frankly. There was just not enough people interested in coming back to Anthem. And EA saw that, and EA saw the failing the first time around. Here's a thought. Here's a suggestion, sorry. Do we believe that maybe a few years down the track it could be revived as a new sequel, as a new concept? Maybe. I think one of the major issues that they had was that they just didn't know. BioWare didn't know what they were doing with Anthem to begin with. That's the major failing. The BioWare Magic situation. Over at that studio, while the game was going on, they had this whole idea. The hockey stick analogy was used by one of the developers or somebody involved in the production, where production of a BioWare game is just flat for a while, and then right at the end it kinks up, and everything comes together. That's what BioWare Magic has been since at least Mass Effect and Dragon Age, the originals. And what ended up happening, of course, was that BioWare Magic never kicked in for Anthem because the entire concept, the entire studio was an absolute disheveled, disorganized mess. And they had no idea what they were doing. So, rip. Can we get some rips in chat for Anthem? Can we get some Fs in chat for Anthem? And also some lulls in chat for Anthem. Could have been great, but it was never going to be. EA didn't care. Yeah. The concept is okay. I'm going to say this with 100% certainty. I didn't like the aesthetic of it. I didn't like Anthem's look. Anthem just, it just looked like fucking Avatar. Not The Last Airbender. It didn't look interesting. It looked too, like, you know what it reminds me of? The Transformers movies. You know, there's too much big, glossy, set-piece scenery. And all of, like, the, you know, it reminds me of Knack as well. Like, you've got these character designs with too many moving parts. Maybe I'm just like maybe I'm just a sucker for a good, like, proper art style video game where I can make out details. But Anthem did have that visual flood of information, I think. Blame that on my autism. I don't know. Maybe I was having a sensory overload looking at that game, and it was just too much. I was actually watching someone stream World of Warcraft recently and had the same issue. It was like, there's so much going on screen, how the fuck can you focus? Can I get a I bought a deluxe pre-order for a game you don't play? I mean, this is honestly why we shouldn't pre-order video games. Quite frankly, there's the woman who pre-ordered Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, which sits proudly on the From Software shelf, underneath my what's it called? Underneath my Scribblenauts hat, which I also got as a pre-order, and like almost everything on that shelf is a pre-order. Hello, Game Dad. Your title made me chuckle. Why, thank you. I thought we were being a little bit clever. You played it on EA subscription thing. Also got to play Fallen Order out of that. Yeah, Fallen Order was fucking good. Okay, like, let's not act like EA doesn't do good games. I think we've gotten past that point as a gamer society. EA has put out some good games. Apex Legends, which released 18 days before Anthem, as a complete shock, no anticipation whatsoever, absolutely knocked it out of the park with some really tight gameplay mechanics. And at the same time, yeah, you got Jedi Fallen Order. And I suppose, like, you know, bought Fallen Order again on PS5 after cancelling the EA sub. It's a good game, it's worth playing. You pre-ordered Little Nightmares 2 and were not even close to being disappointed. I think... Did I pre-order Ghost Runner? I can't recall if I pre-ordered Ghost Runner. Although, I will say this. I did also pre-order... That box there is Dishonored 2. I have never played the actual game, but all the pre-order stuff in it is mine. So I might have had a habit in the past of pre-ordering stuff that I never even touched, like the cool shit. I've also got the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy up there, where I got my dad to buy me a phone that was compatible with the Pip-Boy app so I could wear it in the thing and use it in the video game. Never used it. As the world gets scarier, our distractions need to get more intense and dazzling. Quite frankly, I want more distractions that are of that PS1, early PS2 era of complexity and graphical fidelity. You know, I want things to be a little bit simpler. I want more games that take me back to that that era of time where I was actually loving video games. There was a point at which video games fell off for me, and I don't think I've ever fully recovered from just sort of... I don't know, I've been on and off with video games for years, and the majority of the ones I like to play tend to harken back to the games I enjoyed when I was younger. Or Dark Souls. Dishonored is an absolute banger, it is. It really is. Phenomenal. One game you found deeply disappointing is Cold War. Crashes continuously on Series X and now apparently does not fit on a 500GB PS4. What the hell, dude? Isn't it that free 3D game site? It's all open source stuff and they look like N64. I'd have to give it a look. Bravely Default 2. Again, I'm genuinely convinced that like someone at Nintendo just has a title generator that they're just like putting in generic words. It's like, that's a title, ship it. Used to pre-order all the time, decided not to do that anymore, then he went and pre-ordered RE Village. That's the issue that I've always had with pre-ordering video games. It's like, I will pre-order a game, and then I'll say to myself, I shouldn't have done that. And then I will see people going on about how they pre-ordered this, they pre-ordered that, and they were massively disappointed, and the game turned out to be a flop, and then I will jump on my high horse, my soapbox, and I'll say, listen, you should never pre-order video games. This is the problem with pre-ordering video games, is they set your expectations way too high, and they let you down every single time. The games industry is a toxic nightmare. And then I'll pre-order Sekiro. I'll probably pre-order Elden Ring. I'm a gullible bitch. But at the same time, I think, this is my own personal opinion here. There are certain games, for example, if there was a pre-order for whatever the next Call of Duty is, don't do it. And realistically speaking, in this day and age, there is no point to pre-order any video game. You know, the idea of pre-ordering way back in the day was, you know, oh, we might only get a certain amount of stock in, pre-order now to get your copy, right? But there are certain games I think you just shouldn't even bother pre-ordering. Like I said, if there's another Call of Duty coming out, don't bother pre-ordering that. you kind of already know what you're gonna get. I feel like if you don't get a copy immediately on release, chill a little bit. Not a huge deal. Whereas I think there are certain studios that really treat their pre-order content with a little bit more respect. But the big, like, don't pre-order anything from the big three, I think. Or is it big four now? You would have EA, Activision, Ubisoft. What would the fourth be? Someone hit me with the fourth. Is it the big three or is it the big four? Activision, Blizzard, EA, Ubisoft. Don't pre-order from those three at all, period. Don't do it. Waste of money. Take-Two. Yeah, they are big. They are definitely one of the bigger publishers. What do they do, honestly? See, yeah, definitely don't pre-order from CD Projekt Red. I wouldn't consider them on the same level yet, though. Take-Two Interactive. What do they do? Bethesda is still relevant. They're under Microsoft now. So they would be a Microsoft studio. Alright. Take-Two a Rockstar. Didn't think about that. Rockstar is under Take-Two Games. Take-Two Interactive. Also, it's kind of interesting that the first result, when I search Take-Two with a space, which is apparently not the way the logo is spelled, the first result is Take-Two Berry Street is a Victoria-wide therapeutic service helping address the impact on children of the trauma they have experienced from abuse. That's not what I was expecting when I googled Take-Two. Like, okay. There you go. You could argue there are many children who've been abused by terrible industry pre-order practices. I mean, that's something. You pre-ordered Cyberpunk 2077 and you wanted to put your fist through the monitor. I feel sorry for people who actually got really... honestly, I feel sorry for people who got heavily invested in the idea that Cyberpunk 2077 was going to be this game of the generation before the generation even started. And then I also feel sorry for the people who got, like, in the same vein, people who got super hyped and are still super into the idea of the Avengers video game. Because I think they've been persuaded to think, you know, A, the Avengers is, like, just going through a stumbling block phase right now. And B, the Cyberpunk thing is, like, yeah, quite frankly, a lesson about capitalism. And a lesson in, if we talk about the Avengers thing, that's quite frankly that's more of a blatant example of capitalistic ideology in a video game than the Outer Worlds. And the Outer Worlds could literally just have a script that just says capitalism for every single word of the script. And it would still be a glaring criticism of capitalism, an actual good criticism of capitalism. And, yeah, here we have, you know, the Avengers is just, oh my god, it's just obnoxious. It's insane. It's obscene. They've taken... If you haven't already, guys, hit that follow button. Hit that follow button! I'm not going to have any videos from tonight's stream. I can already feel it right now, so I'm not even going to bother putting out a promo. Like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, but you can go subscribe to my YouTube if you want. If you want to sit through a 39-minute anti-vax video, anti-vax video, I should say. I should specify. Maybe that's why I'm tired. I put out a 39-minute video today, which took me like 4 hours to edit. Hit that follow button if you have not already, folks. But yeah, like, okay, let's think about the Avengers for a second. I want to think about... I'm not an anti-vaxxer. No, I'm not. I am strictly anti... Again, remember the guy at the Capitol Hill riots that was like anti-Antifa? I'm anti-anti-vax and also anti-anti-Antifa. I am Antifa. I want to get the All Cats Are Beautiful t-shirt. Trans liberation now. Honestly... Can I say this? The disturbing thing that worries me about the anti-vax movement is specifically the great Aunt Tifa. Yeah. Tifa is pretty great, isn't she? Anyway, I want to talk about this thing that worries me about the anti-vax people, quite frankly, and that is the specific inclination towards anti-establishment ideology amid the anti-vax movement. And it worries me that anti-vaxxers might try to, and they probably have already in some way. Like, anti-vaxxers are kind of this obscene fringe movement that feels like it's outside of the political spectrum, almost. But at the same time, a lot of the things they say are particularly fashy. A lot of the thing, we talked about the spreading a false narrative concept behind anti-vaxxers. They try to get the idea into people's heads of this reality that doesn't exist, right? But there's also the anti-establishment mindset that pervades the anti-vax collective. Libertarian individualism taken to its natural conclusion. My worry was that the idea of the anti-vax movement invading the left, pretty much. Hello, Love Metal. How's it going? Don't like how people think if you're getting vaccinated, you're going to have autism. Yeah, that stems from Andrew Wakefield. Look up Andrew Wakefield. Okay, Babby Abby. Okay, Rena, have a good one. Libertarian individualism. Let me look that up. Libertarian individualism. Okay. Let's educate ourselves. Libertarianism upholds liberty, the ability to do as one pleases, as a core principle. Libertarians seek to maximize autonomy and political freedom, emphasizing free association, freedom of choice, individualism, and voluntary association. Libertarianism shares a skepticism of authority and state power, but libertarians diverge on the scope of their opposition to existing economic and political systems. Wakefield observes TOS with a big heaping of TOS. 100%. Anti-vaxxers stopped a COVID vaccine center from giving vaccines here in California, USA. Fucking Christ. I hate anti-vaxxers so much. And the sad thing is, who mentioned they'll cull themselves out in a generation or two? No, they won't. You want to know why? Because, what up, Marcus? How's it going? We were talking about just last night. Actually, this is the point of the video that I made. The video that I made today, which was from last night's stream, the 39 fucking minute video. If you have the patience for it, if you want to go back and watch that, was talking about the anti-vax movement 135 years ago with regards to smallpox. The anti-vax movement just keeps shifting the goalposts and keeps on trucking. Regrettably, they do not extinguish themselves. They keep coming back. Anytime there's a new vaccine, anytime there are existing vaccines, I guarantee you the anti-vax movement is going to keep pushing as we get a greater understanding of how the COVID vaccine works. And yes, I believe we're going to have a flu-like situation where we're going to need repeated shots to stay on top of the COVID vaccine every year. For example, like with a flu shot, you should have a flu shot every year. The unfortunate situation is, though they are a fringe movement, they are this fringe skeptic movement, the reality of the situation is they're not going anywhere. It sucks. Have the freedom to do that now, you just can't get caught. They have fucking posters in their main street pushing the anti-vaxxer movement. And there are certain areas, honestly, and I guess this is a major problem in Melbourne, it seems like. I guess this is a problem in Melbourne, where it must be there's a few towns in particular that are heavily anti-vax. This is a thing that I've noticed, is that anti-vax groups tend to congregate in certain townships, suburbs, etc. It's like, for example, that creepy place called Colorado City in Arizona. I think it's in Arizona. It's a weird Church of Latter-day Saints city. Very fringe town. One of those places you don't want to get caught driving through. I do not know that song. No, I do not. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. Anti-vax and Q are here to stay. Yeah, it's true. Mullen Bim... Oh, we mentioned that. I have the freedom to do that now. Libertarian individualism is I am free, and that means I can do whatever I want, like maybe having slaves. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you just can't get caught. Colorado City, not being in Colorado, it's in Arizona. There's also a Colorado City in Texas, but that one's not a crazy Colorado City. This one is a crazy Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints town. Is it Mormons? Mormons. Crazy Mormons! And yeah, it's one of those creepy towns. I'm not American, I'm Australian. Although I have convinced a few people on occasion. You know. There was actually an incident when I was a lot younger where I was staying at a caravan park with my family, a trailer park, like a holiday park. And there was an incident. I don't know what happened. There was some sort of incident, and then like all the other guests at the resort-ish thing decided to start marching down to wherever the incident had occurred because we're all a little miserable. What's the term I'm looking for? We needed to be witnesses to this particular event. And here's me walking along, minding my own business, and there's this other dude, and we're just like casually discussing the event occurring. And I'm not talking in this accent, mind you. I'm talking in this accent at the time. And the fellow decides to say to me, he looks over and he goes, "Are you a Yank?" Or rather, the way he said it was, "Are you a Yank?" I was not putting on any sort of accent whatsoever. I've lived in Australia my entire life. And I am an Australian, and I use an Australian accent routinely in my day-to-day life. So I don't know where the whole "are you a Yank" thing came from. Colorado City, Texas was in the news recently because shortly thereafter, ex-mayor went on some... Oh yes, I forgot about this! Oh my god! Texas Mayor Tim Boyd resigns after telling residents desperate for power and heat, "Only the strong will survive." I meant to report on this. I forgot about this story. A Texas mayor resigned after seemingly telling residents to fend for themselves in a Facebook post amid a deadly and record-breaking winter storm that left much of the state without power Tuesday. As then Mayor of Colorado City, Tim Boyd wrote an insensitive message for the people desperate for heat, water, and power, saying, "Only the strong will survive and the weak will perish. No one owes you or your family anything, nor is it the local government's responsibility to support you during trying times like this," he said. "Sink or swim, it's your choice. The city and county, along with power providers or any other service, owes you nothing. I'm sick and tired of people looking for a damn handout. Sir, you are the mayor. It is your responsibility to look after your people during a crisis. Much the same way it was Scott Morrison's responsibility to look after Australians during the bushfire crisis. Much like it was Ted Cruz's responsibility to look after all of Texas during this winter storm crisis. And he fucked off to Cancun. Scott Morrison fucked off to Hawaii. And this cunt quit his fucking job because you don't post this shit. Jeez, this one should have stayed in the drafts, fam. Mayor of Colorado City, Texas, resigns after posting this controversial Facebook post. Boyd told people without water to think outside the box to survive. I'm sorry, that's not an option. That's not how this works. Thinking outside the box is going to lead them to dying of hypothermia. Okay? And call people waiting in the cold because they have no power lazy. I'm sorry. What in particular? Can I just ask the question? Can I just throw this out there for a moment? I just want to throw this to you folks. I'm asking you, chat, right now. Am I lazy if a massive weather storm knocks my power out? I mean, I personally do not believe that that's my responsibility. I don't have any ideas here. Like it's like if you break down on the side of the road, right? And you call up AAA, or I mean, I'm just going to use AAA as an American reference, but here in Australia we call like the NRMA or whatever it is we've got here. If you break down on the side of the freeway and you have no experience in fixing a car, your life experience is in other things. Maybe you're a marketing expert. You know, maybe you've got a good job as a marketing expert. You have no idea how to fix the engine in your car. It's just blown up and you've had to pull over on the side of the road. If you call up the NRMA or AAA or whatever, and they say to you, "Listen, you don't know how to fix your engine? You're fucking lazy then." They hang up on you. What are you gonna... This is how they sound. You're lazy because you have no power. Just fix your power problem, you lazy bastards freezing to death in the cold. This is so... Yeah. Anyway. Bottom line, quit crying and looking for a handout, he said before finishing off his message in capital letters. Don't... What does it mean? Don't... Why is it in quotes? Just don't be part of the problem, be a part of the solution. The post was deleted but circulated widely on social media. What was he fucking thinking? These people are full mask off. At this point, like we've mentioned before, how far we have gone from the realm of satire. How far we have gone from like satire is no longer allowed to exist. Well, I mean it can. Don't get me wrong. Like again, the Mike Lindell thing. But we've gone so far from satire. This is the kind of shit that you would see on South Park. These people are like, this is full-blown Nazism. This is full-blown fascism. They just do not care about people who are unable to protect themselves. Because they rely on the government that, yeah, admittedly, they did elect, but there are blue voters in Texas. And there's a whole situation around Texas and its voting system. Let's be honest with ourselves. We could look up the situation in Texas and why it's such a red state. There are blue voters in Texas who do not want the current government in there. So when you have people like Stephen King blaming the people who voted in the current government, you know, what did Stephen King? What was Stephen King's? What was Stephen King's Texas tweet? Yeah, here we go. Hey Texas, this is so out of touch. Keep voting for officials who don't believe in climate change and support a privatization of the power grid. Maybe in 4 years you can vote for Trump again. He believes in the latter but not the former. Perfect. Really a bad fucking take from Stephen King. This is the tweet, by the way. If you want, I don't want to look at his profile. Fuck off. There's that. But hang on. Let me have a look here. Texas voters. Texas rigged vote. This is not what I'm trying to find. There was an actual article that talks about... Maybe it's this one? This one's from around about the election time. It's not quite what I was looking for. There is a specific situation. Sorry for a segue. My hairdo is lovely. Thank you. It's just a ponytail. What was I going to say? There was an article I read recently about the voting system in Texas specifically that keeps Republicans in power and prevents people in blue areas from voting, or at least suppresses their vote, or words to that effect. If somebody knows the article I'm thinking of and can find it, I'm not even sure what to search for. Because if I search, yeah, like kind of like gerrymandering, yeah. Now, let me have a look. Let me try Texas gerrymandering. Good eve. It's about 11:36 p.m. for me. That is a cool mug. Thank you, Nondescript Midnight. I've had this one. This is a solid mug. I've had this for years, over a decade. Removing polling stations, restricting voting hours. Exactly. A brief history of Texas gerrymandering. Here's an article from the 27th of February 2020. How Texas became ground zero for gerrymandering and voter suppression. A gay sorcerer. You can sign up right here. You can sign up right here. If you hit that sub button, but you're already subscribed, so that doesn't matter. Here you go. Let me give you your formal certification fancy badger. Hang on a second. There you go. That is your formal certification. You are now a gay sorcerer. Thanks for the hydration, by the way. What conservatives mean? Blah, 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 blah. Hang on a sec. Let me come back to that. Let's talk about this for a second. Blah, blah, blah. Long before Texas enacted the law requiring voters to show an approved photo ID before casting their ballots, and long before the most recent attempt to purge nearly 100,000 names from the voter polls, The Lone Star State embraced the fine art of gerrymandering and it has never let go. Put simply, gerrymandering is the practice of drawing the boundaries for state house and congressional districts in such a way to keep one group in power and others on the margins. Let's come back to this. What conservatives mean is not to be dependent on the other, government, grocery stores, power companies, learn life skills, gardening, get a generator. Do you realize how much income a lot of people do not have to be able to do those things? We were just talking about environmental racism before. How people in poorer areas don't, generally speaking, have ease of access to grocery stores. People can't afford to get a generator. Some people live in areas where they simply cannot garden. Some people do not have access to things where they can learn life skills. Some people don't have the fucking internet. Dave, shut the fuck up. Anywho. And it's a practice that critics say has stripped away the voting power of millions of Texans, overwhelmingly minorities. Shock and horror right there. Often muting their influence in Washington and Austin. Without the gerrymandering, voting rights advocates say such voter suppression efforts such as voter ID, purging the voter rolls, and limiting polling locations wouldn't be possible. Texas is the breeding ground for voter suppression, said veteran voting rights lawyer Jerry Hebbett. We always have our eye on Texas because they're ground zero. So there's basically why Stephen King's Texas tweet. Let me just, I can literally just type in Stephen King Texas tweet. And it's the first result. It's great. This kind of shit is not helping Stephen King. This kind of shit doesn't offer any kind of solution. You dipshit. Because there are many, 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 many people in Texas who are unable to vote. They made a club to keep the blacks and the poors and the women out. Yeah, pretty much. You know, yeah, black people and poor people and women can vote if they can get to a polling place on time during, like, the 3 hours that we're going to give them. And, you know, we're going to remove polling stations from, and we're going to suppress mail-in voting, blah, 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 blah. All this kind of shit. Quickly tell a short story. Go ahead, Amateur. John Adams, one of the founding fathers, of the USA, recognized the problem with democracy. How the poor can vote in to socialize the wealth of the rich. Aristotle also faced the same problem. Faced with the same problem, he proposed that inequality shouldn't exist. However, Adams proposed that democracy shouldn't be installed in its truest sense. Therefore, we have the kind of electoral system we see in the USA. Well, fuck that shit. Jacinta, how you doing? Alexander Hamilton called the voters the great beast. What happened to Dave? Where'd Dave go? Did Dave get scared away with his tail between his legs, or is he trying to publish another magnum opus in my chat? Slowly but surely. I mean, this is the great thing about Discord, right? If we have Discord chat open, and honestly, I find this a rather unique and interesting thing about, there you are. I find this a rather unique and interesting thing about Riley Grace Rochong's streams and her videos is that she uses Discord chat as her main chat. And if you have Discord chat open, you can see down the bottom, like, people are typing. That'd be so useful for Twitch chat. Fashionably early to your voting poll. Quite frankly, we should be like, I know this is going to be controversial. We should be able to email vote. We should be able to e-vote, quite frankly, in any election. You know, we're moving towards we're already in a heavily electronicized. We live in a heavily electronic world. You live in Washington State, we only have vote by mail. Well, that's good. I mean, it's not great, but having vote by mail, do they automatically send you the poll? Here in Australia, we have to vote. It's mandatory. If you don't vote, you get fined. So I prefer that system. But of course, the issue there is that we've got a right-wing party who leads the country at the moment, and we've got a slightly less than right-wing party who's, we've got other parties as well, but those are the two main ones. And so we've got a right-leaning centrist party, and we've got a right-wing party. And then we've got parties like the Greens, who are left, and then we've got parties like One Nation, and another one that I've got listed in here, a literal Australian fascist party called the Australian Citizens Party, formerly the Citizens Electoral Council, who are very much a fasci group who, as far as I know, are like pro-climate change, but all their other policies are really, really... Ew. Where is it? Where was their like breakdown of their policies? Oh no, hang on. It wasn't. Maybe it wasn't the climate change thing. Maybe it was the banking thing. The banking and financial system must serve the people and the real economy. Banks should not speculate with deposits and exploit their customers. I mean, I agree with that, but the rest of their policies are really, really like. Let's. Yeah. I am the Senate. But like, much like we do with paying taxes, do it online and have a PIN number. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, honestly. Like, that's actually a good point. We should, No, I think we should, I think it should be, I think it absolutely should be a law to vote. What's the issue with having every citizen be able to vote? Because then you get the input of every person in the country. Educated on politics or otherwise. Everyone has an opinion on how the country is run. And quite frankly, this is why there is such an issue with political campaigns. It's purely about adversarialism. What we need is specifically campaigns run by a neutral party that outline the policies of each party that are routinely run on television in the months leading up to polling. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Here we go. LaRouche. Oh, here we go. The basis of the politics of the ACP. A lot of people don't vote to just skip the fine and don't actually care who wins or loses. It's still a vote, though. A vote is still a vote. Also, you don't say a lot of nonsense, true. Because, like, that is a good point. Vote like we pay doing for taxes. Do it online, have a PIN, assign to each SSN, no fraud possibility, and don't have to go to the polling place. That's logical. That's just like, that's like 1 + 1 = 2. And the fact that they don't do that is illogical. The LaRouche movement is a political and cultural network promoted by Lyndon LaRouche and his ideas. It has included many organizations and companies around the world which campaign, gather information, and publish books and periodicals. Political organizations, United States, is there, what's the Australian one? Blah, 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 blah. Here we go. LaRouche supporters gained control of the formerly far-right Citizens Electoral Council in the mid-1990s. The CEC publishes an irregular newspaper, The New Citizen. Craig Isherwood. I love when they've got, like, the name of someone here who doesn't have a profile. And they still link to it. It's like, this person doesn't exist on Wikipedia, but you can make them exist. They're not relevant enough to have an article, and yet you're still going to link to their name for no reason. And his spouse, Nolene, are the leaders of the party. The CEC has opposed politician Michael Danby and the 2004 Australian anti-terrorism legislation. For the 2004 federal election, it nominated people for 95 seats, collected millions of dollars in contributions, and earned 34,000 votes. The CEC is concerned with Hamiltonian economics and development ideas for Australia. It has been critical of Queen Elizabeth II's ownership of an Australian zinc mine and believes that she exerts control over Australian politics through the use of prerogative power. It has been in an antagonistic relationship with B'nai B'rith's Anti-Defamation Commission, which has been critical of the CEC for perceived anti-Semitism. That's never a good sign. It has asserted that the Liberal Party is a descendant of the New Guard and other purported fascists such as Sir Wilfrid Kent Hughes and Sir Robert Menzies. Is it Menzies? There was like, or Menzies. I think that's Menzies, but there was, who saw The Imitation Game? Who saw The Imitation Game? DC also says it's fighting for real Labour policies from the 1930s, 40s Republican leanings of the Australian Labour Party. Who saw The Imitation Game? Why? I cannot fathom this. There is a character whose name is Menzies, who is routinely referred to by Benedict Cumberbatch as Mingus. Not Benedict Cumberbatch, you know who I mean. The gay computer man who died of very bad fascism, whose name escapes me. My brain is fried tonight. Fucking Christ, dude. Yeah, but I've never understood. Like, the man's name is spelled Menzies. Alan Turing. And for some reason, he refers to Steve Jobs. Alan Turing! He refers to this person whose name is spelled Menzies as Mingus. And I'm like, where did that come from? I don't know where that pronunciation came from. I don't understand. Is it just foreign to English? I think I did see that Tom Scott video about e-voting, actually. Scotland is where it's from. Okay. Elections in democracy are not nearly equivalent. Oh, no, absolutely not. A vote is a vote, but sadly a vote that has no foundation is as bad as a vote just for a party. Well, that's what we do in Australia. We do vote for a party, which, in my opinion, is a better system than voting for an individual. Don't vote for an individual, vote for a party. You know, we want to vote for the party that will get in and make change, as opposed to voting for a person where it becomes a cult of personality and you've got one person at the top of this system. I mean, you still do vote for individual representatives, I think. But voting for, like, we don't vote for the Prime Minister, we vote for the party we want to get in. And then we vote for our individual representatives. I do believe we can vote for... We can prioritize our vote for who we would like to see as... I'm just thinking for a sec. Can someone re-up me on how the voting system and like how the federal elections work in Australia? I do know we vote for a party. Without parties, yeah, I mean, I would say vote policy. Don't vote party. Vote policy. If their policies align with yours, and that can be tricky too. Like, this is the issue with politics in general. Is like they can say one thing, these are our policies, and then do those things in a way that ultimately ends up worse for the people. If that makes the sense. Regrettably. Your representative doesn't get in, they put a preference, and your vote goes to them. Yes. And same with the parties, I think. Like, if I voted Greens, and my second preference was Labour, and Greens doesn't get the votes, my vote would then go to Labour. Does that make sense? Texas Tim... We got onto this from Tim Boyd. We've gone so far off track from where we were. We went on to gerrymandering. This is what we should do every night. This is what we should do this every night. We should just do politics talk every night. Hardcore politics talk. Because we can just fucking go, mate. This is discourse. This is what discourse is. I learned about the discourse in school. In university school. Back on topic, Anthem. And why Anthem was a direct result of capitalistic voter suppression in Texas. Remove party affiliation in America would force the voters to educate themselves about the politician and their policies. How does the party affiliation work in America? I know people sign up to be a member of a certain political party, like they can. And that's what I'm confused by. I guess, what does that just mean? You're a lifelong voter for that party? Do they automatically consider your vote for that party? Smudge is away. Smudge is gone. Hawley? I mean, yeah. At a council election, you ended up voting for a person who's a member of one of the worst parties in our country, but they've done so much good on the council board, so it was worth it to you. Interesting. Well, there you go. There was a book you forgot that exposed how elections are directly dictated by campaign spending. Well, they are, yes. We don't have Smudge, but we got this, like, little plush cat. Look at this little plush cat that I got. Isn't it cute? That was like $7. $7 for that adorable plush cat. Look. Don't check out my butt, alright? You can look at my legs. My legs are okay. Let's get the cat out. We don't care about Smudge anymore. We don't care about Smudge anymore. We got this. Okay? You hit full screen. Go check out my butt. Not for free. Look at that cat. It has a tail. Look, it's got a little tail. It's based. Can we get some based cat in chat? We get some based cat. Look at it. It's like Miffy. It looks like Miffy. Who knows Miffy? It's cute, and the kitty's cute too. Like, who knows Miffy? This is what it reminds me of. Miffy the rabbit. Kinda. Like, vaguely, it looks like Miffy. What? Have you never heard of Miffy before? Reduce the size and influence of the federal government and give it back to the states as originally intended. Miffy's like a kid's show. It's just a kid's show. Kids show and kids series of books. You want to be Jessica Rabbit? I bet you do. Well, you already showed me your little cosplay of her. Just do it again. Just get the outfit out. That'd be why you don't know it. I feel like I need to show you an episode of Bluey sometime. Just to show you what a good kids show looks like. Here I am, a heavily political, very sweary Australian cunt Twitch streamer. Bingus Jingus, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. Oh my god! On the subject of Bluey, I need to get this for my children. It's Where's Wally, but it's Bluey. I need to find this. Penguin Books. Okay. Need to find this fucking book, mate. Yeah, here in Australia, it's Where's Wally. Bluey is so good. It's quite honestly the best children's show that I've ever seen. In, like, bar none. Like, actually for, 4 to 8 year olds kind of thing, or like younger. It's such a good show. Like, genuinely, it's written well, it's animated gorgeously, and it's incredibly honestly relatable to both the kids and the parents, which is why it works so well. The conversations between the parents, like the adult characters in the show, and the way the adults talk to their kids, it's not like condescending or like it's not played up so the kids are it's not like the kids are the primary focus and the adults are only there to just have adult characters. The adult characters are actual parents, like they're written like parents have written them. It's a really good show. Genuinely should show you an episode of it if you've never seen Bluey before. I'm gonna get you guys hooked on Bluey. Where's Willy? Speaking of good kids shows, did I see that thing Blue's Clues did recently? No, I did not. Hello, Kerry. How you doing? ABC iView. Yeah, we could watch it on ABC iView. Easily. It's such a good show. Where can I find this book? Oh my god, my stomach is grumbling. Blah. Where can I find Bluey? Hang on a sec. It's $10. This item will be released on March 30th. I'm so getting this book for my kids. Hold up a sec. Give me a second here. Let me just take this. I'm just gonna go to Facebook really quickly. The middle of the fucking night. I'm gonna send this to my sister. And then later on I'll send it to my my mother when she... I feel like my sister's awake. Who is this person? New message request from someone who I do not trust the name of. Anyway, enough of that. I've got 2 kids. I need to get that book. I need to get that book for my children. 2 baby cousins are addicted to Bluey. Good! It's good shit. Good shit. They did an alphabet song when they got to the P. They went, P is full of pride, and showed a bunch of pride flags. Aw, that's cute. Recently watched We Need to Talk about Kevin on SBS Demand. I have not watched it. What's it about? I feel like I've heard of that one. What's that one about? Let's not risk DMCA just in case. Oh hey, we hit 3,200 followers. What the fuck? Why are there so many people following my Twitch stream? What's going on? Honestly, you know what pisses me off? Is we look at my channel analytics for the past 30 days. We've got this fucking bullshit. We got follow botted on the 6th. 11,501 follows. Fucking obscene, mate. Oh, I hate that so much. Anyway, wanted to show that. That annoys me. So I'm gonna have to wait until like next month to get a proper view of like how many average follows per month I'm getting. Not that I care that much, but it's just kind of weird that I'm getting so many followers these days. There's something to E for equality, U for unity. That's good. We like to hear that. I showed up in your recommended. I think that's where I've been, where a lot of people have been coming from recently. Oh yeah, pronouns extension for the win. The movie had Tilda Swinton in it. Deep things about the movie, you can't pinpoint any particular theme, I see. Tilda Swinton's always good. Again, I need to read more on I need to read more on the concepts behind communism. What if I'm just entertaining? I mean, that's a possibility. I like to think I am. This is a major issue that I deal with routinely, and a lot of other streamers do too, is the fact that we put ourselves out there into the world. We put ourselves in front of a camera. In my case, 2 cameras. Hey, how are you? I don't often use that one other than for cutaway gags. And I think when you put yourself in front of an audience, in front of a captive audience who are strapped into their chairs and have their eyeballs held open, forced to watch me, you have this sense of doubt of like, even if you have an audience sitting there in chat, if you have a group of people watching your YouTube videos or your TikToks or any of that kind of nonsense, you begin to think to yourself, it's like, well, what if they don't actually like me? What if they're not actually, what if they all go away one day and they never come back and no one ever watches me ever again for the rest of time? It's like, the self-doubt never disappears. Imposter syndrome. Tomorrow's stream. Let's do it. Let's do mental health tomorrow. Let's do mental health tomorrow. Shall we? I've got mental health listed on my tags all the time. And news, educational, etc. Let's do mental health. Let's talk about imposter syndrome. And other stuff. It's worth considering the crimes of capitalism and compare them to the crimes of communism. Turns out empire is a bloodbath. Yeah, shocking that. Please discuss communism. I mean, we can do a communism stream. I have degrees and shit, still waiting for people to figure out that I'm making everything up as I go along. That's what, yeah, I kind of feel that. I kind of feel that whole thing. It's like, alright, I'll check out the song after the stream. That's kind of the thing, is like, tonight was a very non-structured stream, but tomorrow we can do a structured, commie here for the commie stream. Fucking auto mod, Jesus Christ. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I feel worried about the idea of like, let's learn about this, let's do this, let's do that, let's talk about communism, let's talk about socialism, when I'm not fully informed on it. Like, but at the same time, I kind of know the basic ideas, and I feel like the situation, the reality of the world is we do not live in an ideal world. You know, in an ideal world, socialism would be the good way to go. From what I know about it, all I'm on is a white person. Yeah, what I know of socialism and what I know of communism is that they would be ideal situations, but it's not an ideal world we live in. I will Google Murray Bookchin. I've seen that name come up several times now. Is that him? Good night, Amateur. Have a good one. American anarchist, political philosopher, trade union organizer, and educator. We are going to look him up. We're going to read about him. I'll bookmark Bookchin. Sorry, I know, like, chat has been a little bit crazy tonight. Alright, I'm just gonna make a new file for tomorrow's stream. 26 to 2021 notes. Commie stream. Oh no, hang on, we'll do mental health tomorrow. And then I'll make another note for Murray Bookchin. So no, actually no. 26th.
Welcome to the Rogue Room.
Cheeky tickle fart. Welcome to the Rogue Room. Sit down, grab a drink, and chill out with us. 27th cannot be commie stream. I'm sorry. 27th is cocktail stream. We'll do it on the 28th. 27th is cock stream. So here's our plans for the week ahead. Mental health. Autism? Do we want autism? 27th is cock stream. That's Saturday. And then we'll do commie stream on the 28th. We'll learn about communism. We'll just do the Bad Bunny escaping the alt-right. I'll just steal her content, basically. Even though I will talk about how, you know, I was slipping down the alt-right slope. But I feel like I was nowhere near as bad as some people. Nowhere near as bad as some people. Living for the juiciness in this chat. It's very juicy. It's a very juicy stream. But, regrettably, I'm going to have to call it because I'm very, very sleepy. And still, again, recovering from gastroenteritis. And I mean, it was like 2 days ago now. I'm just like recovering in terms of fatigue. I'm just gonna scroll through my followed list here. What is... For fuck's sake, ads, are you cunting serious? We're gonna go raid Plotsky. I haven't raided in a moment. Plotsky's good bloke, so let's go say hello. Go say, can we get some... What can we say? Oh, don't tell me he's ending his stream. He's been going for 3 hours. Is he in a... No, he's raiding some... No, we can't raid him. Motherfucker, we can't raid him. Okay. He's ending his stream. Alright. Okay, I think I raided Emmy relatively recently, but she goes late, so we'll raid Midnight Emmy instead, who is playing The Sims 4, which is atrocious, quite frankly. How dare you play The Sims 4? Play a better version of The Sims. Play The Sims 2. Sims 2 is peak Sims. Can we get that? Sims 2 is peak Sims. And yeah, we're gonna end it there for tonight. Why have I got 38 viewers but only 16 raiders? Get in the raid, you fucking cucks. And then go to Emmy and say, what do you say to someone when you raid them? What do you say to somebody when you raid them, folks? Give me an idea. What would you say to a person when you raid them? Hey, don't leave the raid, get in the raid. I see you people dropping there. Rogue raid. Can we say Rogue's got a cute little kitty cat plush? And that's it. That's like, just say that and then just be really nice. Don't say suck my big purple grape. You'll probably get banned. Don't be rude. At any rate, tomorrow we will be live. We'll do mental health and then cocktail stream and then also maybe like follow all my social shit, get in the Discord. Just in case it comes across as rude, I don't know. Follow my social shit. I will see you when I'm looking at you. Commie stream on the 28th, cocktails tomorrow. Good night, folks. Have a good one.
Bear back. Okay, Princess Lily. Oh my